Hey, everybody. It is Monday night. It is time to talk Lorcana. I'm really excited. You all are joining us. This is going to be probably one of my favorite shows we've ever done. And we've done some fun shows. We've had the voice of Bucky on here. We've done a kids live stream. We've had some amazing players and people. Over 120 guests, I believe, over the past year on this show, which if you asked me when I started out, this crazy idea, when Aaron and I did our very first one, if you told us we'd have even over 50 people and been doing this for a year, we would have said that you are lying, because I have to say it's a lot of work. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you everybody who for the last year has tuned in to even one of our shows, has supported us, has liked our videos, has told other people about them, whatever. It is a lot of work to schedule these and stick to a routine every single week, especially with a kid and 2 jobs and all that. So again, thank you all very, very much. Yeah, it means a lot. I think, we're on show number 48, I think, and we've been doing this for a year. So if you do the math, we've only missed like six or 7 weeks. One of those, I think, was for the birth of our child. Another one was for Christmas and some random other ones. So we do our best to be here every week at about this time to bring you all, the latest Lorcana news and some guests. Aaron is the chat. So some admin notes. Aaron is on her way. We thought we had it scheduled out so she would be here for the start. She's coming back. I don't know if any of you have been following the news today, but there was a certain visitor in Austin that kind of delayed some plane flights and etc. So Aaron is a little bit later landing. And so she's in the chat and is on the way, probably in an Uber. Aaron says on the plane trying to get home. So she's here and we'll be in the studio here before long, rushing in. So yeah, a couple more admin notes before I bring in our first guests. I like doing giveaways. I couldn't figure out what to give away, but we have an extra copy of Gateway, which is one of our favorite Lorcana products ever. I couldn't figure out, I didn't want to give this away randomly. So what I want to do is if you're here in the show, and you want a copy of Gateway because you want to teach somebody how to play, if you have a very special purpose for this, send us a note on Twitter or on the platform formerly known as Twitter, or jump in our Discord server. It's in the show notes, and post in our giveaway channel. Basically, send us a message that I can get, preferably on Twitter or in our Discord server. And if, tell us why you want Gateway, who you're looking forward to teaching with it, why you want to have it, who you're going to bring into the game, like the story. And we're going to pick somebody at the end of the show and send you a copy of Gateway because our target has stocked them. So I've got a few copies. And the other admin note before I bring in people is I have to say that this show, there's an uneven split of work in this show. Like Aaron, she's not sitting here because she makes the show happen. She does so much work behind the scenes, caring for our daughter, sometimes putting her down to bed and taking care of her. She has a very, very busy job as well. She's a development director for a nonprofit, which is very time consuming. And so without Aaron, this show wouldn't happen, even though I know you all see me more than her in here because I have a little bit more free time during the week to devote to getting the show off the ground. So huge props to Aaron. And thanks so much, Aaron, for making this show happen. So yeah, anyway, I really hope you all are excited for tonight and are ready to see some great guests. We have a bunch of different segments planned. We've got some guests who are announced, some guests who are unannounced, and we're going to be going for a couple hours here, maybe a few minutes longer. We've got trivia, and it's going to be a whole big thing. So if you're not in here, tag, or if your friends aren't in here, tag your friends, bring them in. This should be fun. And yeah, I'm super excited. So first, I'm going to welcome a couple friends of mine, longtime friends of the channel who've been here numerous times, and they're just personal friends of ours who've supported us in our content creator journey and in our commentator journey as well. So first, I'm going to welcome Rebecca and Brandon. Rebecca from Lorcana Luminary and Brandon B Squared. Hey!
Hey! Happy 1 year.
So glad to be here. Happy 1 year.
Thanks for joining us. This is so much fun. You all are creators that, so for those in the creator space, like other creators, like kind of drive you. Not only do they give you support behind the scenes oftentimes, but like they're doing stuff and you're out there seeing what they're doing. And so you want to emulate them. And Brandon and Rebecca are 2 of our favorites. And thank you all for inspiring us and keeping us motivated.
Samesies.
Same. Yeah.
So
it really is cool. I mean, everybody's so supportive of each other. It's been really awesome getting to know both you and Aaron, Liam. So you guys are awesome.
I appreciate it. We just try to do well. I don't know. You guys are great. Like you all are amazing, and I can't thank you enough for the support, because I really do think I sent a message in a group chat we were in ages ago. I really do think for Aaron and I, especially, without the other creators that we can kind of lean on and bounce ideas off of, and who are there supporting us, you two included, I don't think we would still be doing this. So it matters a lot that you all are here. So thank you. Okay. So we need to bring in another guest. And Brandon, you figured out who it is. Rebecca, you may have figured out who it is. I don't know.
I had a guess of who I thought it was going to be, and I was right. I didn't tell you my guess, but I was right.
Well, I'm very excited. This is going to cross off one of my Lorcana bucket list items, one of my favorite people in the game. So I might as well just introduce him here with a cool slide. We're really excited. We're going to get shocked tonight with Shane Hartley, the creative director of Global Games and Disney Lorcana. Shane, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I don't know how I feel about being a bucket list item, though. Does that mean you can die now? He can die happy.
But once it's complete, that's then all bets are off. But no, I've wanted, like, so from the very beginning, you all know that Aaron and I have really been into the art and the design of the game, the card frames and the box art and just the world of Lorcana and the story and all that. And you do have the game designers and the brand manager, Ryan Miller and Steve Warner, working on the game mechanics and Ryan, the whole brand. But for those who don't know, Shane has like the entire creative team, including the art team, and all of the creative decisions like go through your people and you. And it's can't thank you enough.
I have an awesome team. Thank you.
So what's it like being you for a day and being for Lorcana and all the other games Ravensburger's putting out?
As of right now, it's a lot of meetings. I bounce between things. I think my team is now, and other people are now setting meetings they call them Shane meetings, so they can they can tie me down and get me to to actually be able to respond or provide feedback, and that's pretty funny. When they first told me, I got on a meeting and they're like, oh yeah, this is our a Shane meeting, and I was like, what? What is that? So but yeah, I mean, so majority of my time is spent working on Lorcana, just because I have an awesome team with that also are on the games, like the non-Lorcana games side of things. So I have two teams of art directors. They function as one team, but because one is in Seattle and one is in Germany, they in locale they're separated, but they work as one, and so they work on all the games together. And they're a really strong team that they can they're self-sufficient, but I jump in every once in a while and help out and such there, and then really kind of cover the whole strategy of the games category as well. So we're always pushing forward and going to that next level. And then for Lorcana, really deep into, of course, building of this world and what does it mean, and taking care of the Disney IP and building a story around it. And part of my other role is I actually lead the the narrative team is under my management as well, and then the narrative director there, and then the card art development and the concept and biz dev work as well, packaging, marketing, creative, all of those kind of fit under that umbrella. So it's fun though. Like I mean, it's something new every day and new every hour to some extent. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I do want to ask about. Well, I guess we'll jump in and ask. We've already had questions about enchanted cards. There's so many questions I want to ask, but I think Shimmering Skies is so fresh that I kind of wanted to ask about the enchanted card design.
Yeah.
From what I understand, you try to redesign the enchanted cards every set to kind of match the flavor of that particular set and do something new with them each time. Is that kind of right?
Yeah. So what we decided to do is, so our normal set, we have creatively and artistically, the visuals are set on what we call, or are designed in a way that we call the modern storybook. That's the style that and you guys know this. And this is a style that we had created, or at least termed in-house. And some of the different ingredients in there are special for Lorcana, because I was really at the very beginning, my original thought process is I really wanted it like when you saw a card on the table, that you'd be able to immediately go, that's a Lorcana card, without, it wouldn't get mixed up with the other TCGs. You wouldn't, it wouldn't get confused with them as far as style and such. And then also I just wanted that consistent look, and that familiarity, so that when a Disney fan also that didn't know anything about it would also feel like, oh, this feels good. It's like comfort food for a Disney fan, and so, but also bringing in something new that wasn't maybe seen before. So it was kind of like bridging the two together. And then when we did, of course, the first set of Enchanteds, we stayed within that because this was kind of a new game. And then as we went on through the sets, we started to think about, okay, how do we break that style or push past it and provide some, surprise and delight in the actual in the booster sets. And Enchanted, we thought, perfect, this is the right place to do it, and also be able to have this small collection of cards that thematically could tell a little bit more of the story. So in each set we would just say, okay, what is the theme for this set? What's the story we're trying to tell? With Ursula, it was like this idea of her, and I know that was a little bit of the controversial set for the Enchanteds, and I will take ownership on those ones. But my thought process there was very much that, they're floating in her, she's gazing into this ball in her cauldron, and that she's able to see them, and that they're coming closer to her and her realm. And so that idea around it. And so it didn't, some people didn't get it, which, you win some, you lose some. But I think, it was fun. It's fun that's the area where we like to kind of take some risks, have some fun there and figure out what we're going to do. And then the case with Shimmering Skies, again, like, there's a couple articles coming out, and one of them specifically, one is with Anna. She's the lead art director on that set, and she really defined what the style was going to be, and how it's this whole idea around, not only are the Glimmers themselves and the Lumineers now celebrating the defeat of Ursula, but Lorcana as a whole. Like, imagine it's like the skies have lit up because they're all celebrating. So, and we wanted essentially the Enchanted cards to reflect that. As far as the actual redesign of the card frame was what we call it. So all of for people that are, new or haven't heard that term. So a lot of times in TCGs, all of the design work or the borders and the icons and such, they call that the card frame. Some places call it the borders, some call it the frames. We internally, that's what we call it. And so when a lot of times we'll get into design and we'll say, or into a new set, and we'll say, oh, we want to do a new card frame. And that's either like in the case of the Illumineer's Quest with Ursula, we had a couple special ones for her. And then also those cards that were like the hero cards of the player decks. And so kind of bringing in a little bit of flavor into those as well, and like, where can we do it? It's always a little bit of a conundrum with me, and so Shane Smith does the actual design work, and him and I usually bounce ideas, and it's kind of funny, the two Shanes. But
I've been confused before.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, I'll say, oh, Shane did this, Shane that, and they're like, they don't realize that I'm not talking about myself, talking in third person. But we will often, it's kind of a conundrum because we designed the card frames originally to be almost non-existent, like to really feature the art as much as possible. Whereas other TCGs, it's like a lot of, framing and a lot of extra stuff. And then you have the art kind of inside. And we were like, okay, how do we strip all that away so that, one, it doesn't feel overwhelming to a consumer that maybe hasn't played TCGs. So we wanted to keep it simple, strip it down, keep it like really clean, and like really put all the focus on the art. And so then when people ask us, hey, we want to do a new card frame, and we're like, well, there's not a lot to do with it here, like, how do we, but at the same time, it's a good thing that we did that, because it actually does give us more ability to move things and adjust or apply different treatments and things to areas without destroying the user interface of the card. So we can change the color, or we can move things, or slightly scale things down, and it still works. With the Enchanteds for Shimmering Skies, we knew, okay, this is the fifth set. we felt like, okay, this was the time for us to be able to do something new and exciting, bring something like one step further. And we also heard from the fans, they really wanted more art. Like, how do we give them as much art as possible? And we had that art, but our current enchanteds the frame itself didn't expose as much of it as we wanted to. So we thought, okay, how do we take it to that next step? And I think Shane talked about recently on another content channel, he talked about how we just we stripped everything away, like figured out, okay, what can we pull away and still have it be a playable card? And that's something that's another point that we've also looked at is, and Ryan Miller has, often repeated to me when we're doing this and he's reviewing them is are they still playable? Because we kind of don't want to be in that position where it's like, they're so, we've done so much to them that they almost aren't playable anymore. And that's, so we'd rather them be as playable as possible, but also as beautiful as they can and showcase as much as the art as possible. So if you can see like some little design things that we did. So we removed like the ink banner, as we call it internally. And we used the color of the ink as a stroke around the character name and also the card version name. And then also, of course, the characteristics as well. We colorized that and kept that in a little bit brighter color than what it is normally on the card to, at least have that indication of the card ink. And then the icons themselves, we realized that we could probably size them down just a little bit and then bump them a little bit lower in the frame to expose more art and not cover it up and still be usable. And then the same thing, like just the border of the frame itself, reducing it down to like the most minimal border elements as we could. And then we added we did that. We went through multiple rounds. I mean, this was like, it's not like a one-time kind of thing. It was definitely multiple rounds. And in order for the text to still be readable, Shane and I came up with this idea of this kind of frosted glass type feel where we blurred the background and then added a little bit of a color tinting to also help again, because that was another thing that when we worked with game design, when they sat the cards across the table, they were like, okay, what ink type is this? Because it was across the table sometimes, especially with these big, bright, vibrant inks, you couldn't tell, like the ink information was almost too little. And so we thought, okay, what's that next thing we do? And so that's why we tinted that bottom area to help with that. So that's probably more than you wanted to know.
No, it's great.
You want to know all the things.
They're beautiful. I mean, I've loved every set of Enchanteds. I really liked the Ursula's Return Enchanteds.
Same.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I loved them. But these ones are just so bright and vibrant. And like you said, it's part of the storytelling that you've taken the art for the Enchanteds to reflect the overall, feel and storytelling that's happening in each set, which I just love that because that's such a Disney thing, right? Disney is all about telling good stories. And so seeing stories told through the art in this really creative and sometimes risky way, especially with the Enchanteds, it's really fantastic.
Yeah. I told somebody one time, because they asked me, I don't know what we were talking about exactly. And I was like, well, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. It's like,
exactly.
you have to risk a little bit. But one of the other key things that I didn't mention was with Enchanteds, we also want to, when we're looking at the overall styles and when we're developing the look for an Enchanted, this is our opportunity to let each of the artists really flex their style. So you'll see a lot of deviation that you normally wouldn't see in the regular set. Now in the regular set, yes, our range has expanded quite a bit from where we were. Like at the beginning, we were really tight, and then we've like slowly kind of like opened that range up a little bit just to, just so we still have that consistency and people, still feel comfortable. But adding a little spice into that comfort food, and to bring back the analogy. But these ones specifically, it's like we either use artists that we've already used before that we know they have this inherent style already, or they want to try it. There's sometimes we have artists that are like, oh, I really want to try something, or whatever. But but then we have these, of course, these other artists that are maybe brand new, and they're they're coming into Lorcana for the first time, and this is the perfect opportunity for them. So
I love that so much. I love so it's so interesting whenever an enchanting gets revealed. I love both when you see an artist that you know in Lorcana who maybe is getting their first enchanted, and you're like, this must have been a really amazing moment for them to have done a few cards and then be offered this opportunity and get to flex their muscles. But then on the other hand, I also really like it when you have a brand new artist to the game, and I see somebody that I don't recognize at all who was brought in for this particular moment. And one that resonates with me quite a bit is, again, talking about, I don't know why, Ursula's Return was so divisive, because I like the art there. But, you brought in Nocturne, I think is how you say the name, from a Filipino artist who I think all the cards are enchanted, right? That's all they did.
I think, I can't remember how many. I think it was like four
Five?
of them, four or five of them.
Yeah.
And then we had a couple other artists that had similar styles, or like we felt like they could without, like, we don't ever want to be in a situation where we're having artists like rip off other artists. It's more like, okay, here's what we're going for, and this feel of, this ethereal, like they're floating in, like in a crystal ball kind of feeling. And so we kind of have a couple artists that did some really good interpretations that don't look like exactly like Nocturne's work, but it was inspired by in that way. But yeah, totally brand new artist. That was one of those ones people always ask us, like, where do we find artists and things? And I'm like, I just found him on Instagram, like,
That's crazy.
And that's I have this huge kind of collection of things, and I'm like always like saving them, like, okay, yep, future enchanted, here we go.
That's awesome.
And now so we have, our structure is set up where every set is led by a lead or a set lead AD, art director, and one of their roles is essentially to define what the new enchanted look is based on the story and the thematics that we're trying to tell. And so they will put together concepts and mood boards and other artist examples, or those types of things, and then we present them both. They present to me, and then we present to Disney and say, hey, this is something we'd like to do. What do you think about this? Does this work? And then we kind of go from there. I actually reviewed a new set of Enchanted today of this style.
What? They were sharing live.
No, I can't see
Rochelle is in the chat, and she is.
Do you have a favorite set though that you can say, or have they all been your favorite, or is there one that you just like particularly enjoyed working on?
I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, they've all had, like, for different reasons, for sure. I liked doing something new, like so Ursula's set was really good for Enchanted. Like, I just liked, for me personally, I think that was a really fun take and something you wouldn't expect for a Disney product maybe, but still felt at the same time appropriate. There is a future set that I'm very excited for. It's also another different take on this. It's a big jump, but at the same time I think it will feel very familiar to Disney at the same time. So I think it's like taking the risk, but at the same time there's something there that people will really enjoy. So those are coming, and I wish I could tell you more, but
I know.
After it comes out, you just come back on the show and the first line can be that's it.
That's the one.
That was the one.
Unless it's like really bad and I'm like, no, that wasn't the one.
Never mind. Yeah, we're still coming. We're still working.
I know Rochelle told me the other day, she's like, well, yeah, that'd be cool if it looks good. I'm like, Rochelle, I'm just gonna do something that doesn't look good? Come on. That's my goal in life, is just to not do things that are good.
Yeah, that's funny. One interesting thing I find about the narrative in this set, it feels to me like emotionally you're trying to do different things with each set. And I've really enjoyed, obviously the first chapter was the first chapter and we get a feel for Lorcana. It's kind of magical and wonderful. And then into the Floodborn, or the Rise of the Floodborn, comes a little bit darker. And now we're all of a sudden like, oh, wait a second, things are happening. What does this mean? There's mystery, but there's also it's a little darker. Into the Inklands then brings us out of that a little bit, and it's like, okay, adventure. We're outside the Grand Illuminary, Indiana Jones, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Ursula's Return gets really dark.
Yep.
The idea of like entangled glimmers and the glowing eyes and like some of the characters we see is like really, it's, I mean, for Disney property, it's kind of dark. And then Shimmering Skies, you kind of bring us out of that again, and you're like, all right, now we're back and things are celebratory. Is that how you're kind of thinking about the set in terms of this emotional journey that we're all going on?
Yeah, we do it definitely both narratively and visually. We want that. I mean, especially, from a sales perspective and marketing perspective, it makes it much easier, right? Where we can have a couple sets on a shelf and you can distinctly tell the mood and theme of them sitting next to each other. And so that's one reason. The other way is it has that emotional roller coaster in a good way for the player, because if every set's dark, it's just like, ooh, like, I don't want to fight the big bad every single time, and like this ominous feeling. And Disney, I think Disney storytelling is very much that way, where they have those highs and they lows. It's the singing montages, and then you have the danger of the dragon that comes in, and that's like the same time scenario that we want, is that feeling of telling a good story. And with our we tell like narrative arcs is what we call them internally, and they are have that feeling where it's like we're starting here and then okay, this is where we're leading towards, and this is it's cool, it's fun.
It is very cool.
It's really cool. Shane, I had a question. I feel like it kind of is in this realm a little bit, coming from other games. I've other games that release regular like updates or sets, things like that, similar to Lorcana. A lot of them can be like really thematic, and so like there's definitely some of that in Lorcana, as we just talked about, emotionally, bright and ominous and that sort of thing. But one of my favorite things, at least coming up in Shimmering Skies, is like the food fight stuff that's happening. And like there's a little bit of that, like just small things in each set, I feel like, that come along. And I'm interested sort of as a player, like I'm sure there's a lot of moving parts in regards to the creative team, the design team, and like when everything's coming together. What does the brainstorming look like from the creative team when it comes to like fun? Like, I guess how you theme the set, like, like I know there's the narrative part, but then like food fighting's not really, like that's just something fun that's happening.
Yeah, I think it's a good question. So what we call is, a lot of times internally we'll say, okay, what's the whimsy of the set, to break up some of that the heavy theming, because Disney, of course, there's always some whimsy in there, even when it's like I don't know who we were talking about this in a previous meeting or something. We were talking about how even in those dark moments Disney cracks a joke, and that's a good kind of methodology for us as well, as we think through a set, is like even on set that could be feeling like it's heavy or serious, there's always going to be a joke crack in there. It's like it's like Hades, and Pain and Panic.
Yes.
That kind of,
really.
And so the process that we go through from and this, I would love to have Ari, our narrative director, on here to go through it a little bit more, but the idea around that. So initially we start off with the properties or the franchises we want to include, the characters and things, and then and we kind of list those out, and we work with marketing, we work with the brand team, and figure out, okay, based on what we're seeing or hearing, and like this is where we want to go, or maybe these are new franchises we haven't gone with yet, let's put these in the year. And then the narrative team looks at it and says, okay, like what are some of those themes that we want to explore that might either one, they align well with that franchise, or maybe it's a surprise that franchise would be in that theme. So if the theme is candy and everything, the whole world is made of candy, what's a property that would like feel like, oh, that's surprising that's in there, or
Brother Bear.
Yes. They're just gnawing on the side of a house,
right?
But then of course, Sugar Rush and the racers and everything like that feels natural for them to be there, because that's their environment. And so we go through that that exercise. And then within that, we tell this underlying story of, okay, what's happening? Why are we going from these different themes from one to the next? Like you saw that with with the first four sets where, it's like this first wonder and we're here. It's almost like we were, even though the Illuminary had been here for a long time, the first set was our first stepping into this realm. And then the adventures that were going on, and then like figuring out, like something bad had been released, and then you don't really find out until like, later what that was. In the same scenario with these sets, we look at it and go, okay, how do we tell an underlying story that connects them? Now that's not to say that we'll always have like these multi sets that will always be connected. There may be just like a fun set that we kind of insert in just for the heck of it, just because it is fun to do something, different or whatever. And that's exciting too, to do something a little bit different and always surprise the fans for sure. But yeah, and then like in the case of Shimmering Skies and the food fight, we literally looked at it and we were saying, okay, what are all the things that we do in a celebration? What are the different activities that would feel celebratory, or what are the areas that we would be doing? Like we were trying to think of all the different ways. And so we had like these big galas and balls and dances and concerts. And we were also trying to show, this is a little, I don't know if we've mentioned this before, and hopefully Rochelle's okay with me talking about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then she'll get mad at me. So the idea around damage. So damage in our game, we don't want it, or challenging, should I say, is we don't want it to feel like it's always a physical content, like a contact or like violence or things like that. It's meant to be, it's more, what's the word? Like the idea around, like it could be an arm wrestling match between, Hades.
Right.
And
Right.
He's just won won it or lost it. That's the challenge, rather than that like this is going to be an actually violent fight or tug of war, or it could be more mental challenges in that respect. Like it could be a little bit
Shane, no.
I'm seeing the chat. She's like, no. No, but it's good. So she gave me the okay. So it's too late though, right? But yeah, so it's that idea around that it isn't meant to be a violent game. And so when we say challenge, when we say damage, when we say willpower and strength, those aren't always a physical altercation that we're and it is a race. And that's something I remember when I went down to Mexico just recently and went to their one of their big conventions, and that we had some volunteers that were demoing the game, and of course they're used to very much the one-on-one kind of that type of play, and so we had to sit down with them and be like, no, this is a race. You're both racing to get to the story star, and that the lore is like essentially it's like your waypoints along the way, kind of showing the fact that you're going on this journey, and then eventually that one person is able to grasp the story star. Hey,
it's Aaron.
Hi, Aaron. Literally started the show while I was sitting on an airplane.
Oh, no.
Got in an Uber, and now I'm here. I'm so excited. Hi, Shane.
Hi.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. How's the kid?
She's great.
Oh,
She's
nice.
Wonderful. She's adorable. Her name is not Lorcana, much to y'all's.
Too funny.
She's probably spent 75% of her life at Lorcana events, so it's.
Probably.
I know. Every time I run into you guys, like she's right there with you, and
She's
I'm
in
like, oh my
tow.
gosh.
Yeah, she was crawling all over DLC Fort Worth last weekend. Rebecca and Brandon got to witness that, so we were just so appreciative that like the Ravensburger team and just the Lorcana community has been so welcoming to like our family and to her, and being a part of this game. It's amazing that y'all are so open to that. So
she's been Inkborn.
She has been very on theme.
Inkborn.
Okay. Well,
I love Rochelle's comment there about Martin being healed from the guilt.
Oh yeah,
no damage
of releasing the flood. I loved Martin's redemption arc that we saw in the last story trailer. Poor Martin.
We need one.
Yes.
He tries so hard.
He did. The other thing that is really interesting about Shimmering Skies and the art in the whole set, I think more so than any other set, or even for the first time, we're seeing that theme of like the food fight and what we saw in the story trailer carrying through the art of the whole entire set. Not every card, but I just think it's so fantastic to see that. It kind of, when you were talking a bit about world building at the very beginning, it's like we're really starting to see that happen more and more in the art with each set, which is really fantastic.
Yeah, I think that when in the very beginning it was very like, okay, let's ease into this and not do something that's going to feel completely out there, especially for like new Disney fans or new players, that they at least let's roll into this and make this a little bit slow. And then once they kind of get the understanding of, okay, we're in Lorcana, we know what the Illuminary is, we kind of know the aesthetics and like that, we start to kind of build out further and then keep going out and finding these new worlds and new experiences. So we're playing with it a lot more. And man, the amount of world building and viz dev art that comes through, it's like making a movie. People don't realize it. Like sometimes I look at all the work that we've done and sometimes I'm really sad because there's so much good stuff that maybe never see the light of day. But
that can go, all of that can go in the forthcoming coffee table book that you guys are working on. That's gonna come out. Like, please.
Let's cross our fingers. I mean, we definitely have everything. We're trying to keep everything as organized as possible so that we can, hopefully do something like that someday. I mean, I've been part of a few art books in the past and other jobs, and I would be ecstatic for that to happen. So.
Yeah, I heard Shane while I was watching in the car, you talking about that your favorite set is yet to come, and I can totally I feel like that might forever be the answer, because I feel like every set that comes out, y'all just continue to push yourselves and reach and do these new incredible pieces of art and new treatments. And I mean, I remember when you first started doing frame breaks and it was like, hey, what now? Lorcana world.
Frame breaks. Yes.
And I feel like just now so far beyond frame breaks, the amazing things that
I remember when Liam messaged me right when he first saw that one, and he was like, hey,
it's not a frame break.
Frame?
Yeah. I feel like
that did happen.
I feel like I remember you sending Liam a message at one point and you're like, how about them apples? When like a piece of art came out, you're like, what do you think about frame breaks? What do you think about this? It's amazing. So
I'm like, just
and the
wait.
continuous art that you guys do. Those are so
that.
good.
Yeah.
You guys saw the Robin Hood one, right?
Oh yes. Wait, John?
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, the Little John building on the Robin.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
I mean, come on, John Lauren.
John goes
John
harder
Lauren.
than
John goes harder than anybody needs to go, but we just all really appreciate it.
Don't stop.
Don't
well, this is the first time we've seen a continuous art span set, I feel like,
Well,
that's the first.
No,
we
because
missed
we have Steamboat Willie and Mickey as well.
That's right. The
right.
Steamboat Willie and the Pete. That's right.
That's true. Okay, but different artists there, so that's even cooler, perhaps, because I think you had Juan Diego and I forget who did Pete, but like building on. That's cool.
Was that Michael? I mean, shoot. I always forget so many artists.
Chat will tell us.
Yes.
Yeah, we love but no, the Little John kind of blew my mind. I didn't even realize it was connecting. Like I saw it and I'm like, John Lauren is amazing. And then somebody lined them up and I'm like,
lined them up.
Yeah.
What, Shane, is it like for you? Because I know you've, worked across several card games at this point and dealt with projects on this like on massive scales, but I'm assuming that this might be the biggest project you've ever worked on with the quantity of artists from around the world. Like, what is it like sourcing these artists and working with all of these people and different cultures and perspectives coming to Disney?
I mean, it is definitely from an artist resource perspective and number of artists, it's definitely the largest. I worked on some pretty big games in the past as far as like popularity and just volume of product that's being made, but I think from immense this world that we're creating and the amount of artists that we're working with, and it's daunting and exciting at the same time. We actually, because of the sheer amount, like we're bringing in, more, like I think we just had a job posting for an artist resource manager that posted just the other day. And specifically around this subject is how do we manage all of the hundreds of artists that we're working with in a way that one serves them best, but also us, in that we can manage their time in a way that, one, they're always getting work from us, and two, that say a card takes longer from Disney, like we're working with Disney and like we take multiple pieces of feedback, or we're changing things or something like that, and there's a delay or something that we know, okay, this artist might go on vacation, or there's all those types of things that we have to deal with. But yeah, it's a huge thing in itself, but I love it. I think we have an artist now, like at least onboarded or in the queue from almost every country. It's crazy. I love the idea of having all these different cultures, all these different ways that Disney has affected people's lives. They all have some kind of nostalgia for Disney, and they just love working on it. Some people, we have artists that are like, I'm just going to work for free. Like, I'm like, no, you can't work for free.
We want to support you in your art. Yeah.
Right. Because the artists are the lifeblood of the game. Yes, we have to have good game mechanics and stuff, but like a TCG is just a big Excel sheet without the art, in my opinion. It's like you lose, like, the art is what really takes it and pushes it to an immersive experience, more so than the math that's associated with that mechanic. Now, Steve is amazing. I always give credit to Steve and his team, but yeah, that's what immerses you, is that art.
Yeah. What was that decision like? Because I mean, y'all could have easily gone with bringing 30, 40 artists in-house and had them crank out 800 pieces of art a year, but y'all clearly like deliberately made the decision to say we're going to go and bring in all of these different perspectives and ideas.
Yeah, I think in the beginning it was definitely it is also risk averse kind of scenario where it's a new game, let's figure out like how do we get these going, and picking out which artists are going to work best, and working with the art directors, and like today I just went through a list of like 70 different submissions that I was like, yep, no, yep, no, yep, or like, oh, this would be great for characters, oh, this is great for this, and that's kind of how it was in the beginning too. We'd find these people that we thought were amazing. Of course, my number one pick was Nicholas Cole from the very beginning, and that kind of set that tone. And then but as we've gone actually and picked up more and more, a lot of our artists now, I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of them now have become art directors for us. And they're working on staff, either contractually or full-time. And that is also, that was an evolution that we knew would happen eventually, where we would have these art directors that not only are these artists that not only directing other artists, but also doing some cards of their own. And so one of the things we've tried to do is, I told Matt, who leads the card art team, I said, Matt, I don't want us losing these amazing illustrators if they become art directors, and then all of a sudden we've that's not doing us any good in that respect. Right. And I want them to keep doing cards. And so what we've had to do is try to figure out, okay, what's that balance for them so that they can still have that. And they love it. They're just so passionate. And some of them come from deep Disney backgrounds or TCG background or, whatnot. And it's pretty fun. So.
Yeah. Let's see if I can do it. Julia Rivas, Samantha Erdini, Aubrey Archer, Kuya, Ron Baird. There's the ones I know that have transitioned from artist to art director.
Oh, wow.
Who else? I'm trying to think of anybody else. We have one that he wanted to be an artist, and we brought him in actually as an art director, and then he has a card coming. So, and then I'm trying to think of anybody else. we have quite a few on the team we've added just recently, for the sheer volume and trying to just, because I don't know if you guys realize too, like the way when we're building out sets, it's not we're working on one set at one time. It's literally that we have multiple sets piled on top, and it depends on where they are in the development. And so in order for us to cover all of those, we have to have art directors that are kind of in multiple places at multiple times. And it's a little confusing sometimes because you're like, okay, what set is this again? where are we at in Lorcana?
It also amazes me, like when I learned how many people work on a single card, like that there's an art director and the artist, like that there's so many people that go into bringing us one single card. The team that you have is so passionate, like the passion of all of those people that go into making one piece of art is just so evident.
Yeah, it's very much like ingredients in like the puzzle.
Yeah.
So like into the cake, should I say? And that the idea around that each person brings a little bit more into it. So narrative definitely sets the theme, and then game design, they have the mechanics around those. And then when we get a card that has the mechanics locked in, the narrative team will write what we call top lines. And top lines are usually, it's what we want the card to express. And usually it's a really brief thing, like Mickey doing something heroic, and then it has something about the theme or something like that. And it keeps it pretty light, but at the same time, making sure that we're expressing the mechanic. Because that was also one of the early things that we set up, was we wanted to make sure that when we're doing art for a card, that it actually expressed the mechanic that you were playing, so that people had a visual for why I don't know what that means, like strength minus this and damage and the war. It's like, okay, I want a visual that ties into, and it kind of helps me. It's like theater of the mind scenario of like, when I play this card, I know that I'm what's happening. It's almost like teaching you the play within the visual as well. And so through those top lines, we get that initial, and then the whoever is the set lead, the art director for the set, they will help, and they will go over those top lines as well. And then they will assign them to an art director. When the art director, that are usually like a support staff of, underneath that set lead, will work with the set lead to come up, what's a further description? Like how far, like, do we want to take it? Oh, okay, Mickey's going to be jumping through a window, and he's got the scissors with him, and like, we've got, I don't know, like, sun on his back because of this, and you know what I mean, like we do a whole write-up, and then at that same time, usually about the same time, we are assigning an artist to it and saying, okay, this artist is going to be the right one for this particular piece based on what we're trying to entail here. Or if we know that it's going to be a card that we're going to feature on packaging, of course that's going to choose the artist. And then the artist will take all that and go, I get this, I can make this really cool. And then it's like a whole, it's like throwing, just add water, it's like all of a sudden it magically appears to this big thing that's like way better than we ever could have imagined. So it's very much like this, just keeps going up the ladder, and everybody has a little piece in it.
That's interesting. I was actually going to ask you how much the ability, like the card ability, played into the art. So that's really interesting to hear that is definitely something that you want to convey in the art, that it reflects what the ability of the card is.
We have multiple meetings, like when we're and I'll be like, guys, this has nothing to do with mechanic. What the heck? That's rare. But I'm just saying, like, it'll be like, what's going on here? Like, what are we trying to? And then if sometimes honestly, I am a neophyte in the game mechanic standpoint. Like I can read through them about 3 times, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I get it now, or whatever. Or the game design team will explain it to me. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. Like that now it makes sense, and then we can kind of figure some stuff out. And that's the other thing too that's different too for an art director on a TCG. It's not just making a pretty picture or a nice composition. You really have to also understand the mechanics and what those mean, and then visualize that mechanic, or be able to tell an artist, okay, this is what we're trying to do in that. And that's usually through that top line process to help them kind of in layman's terms describe it. But and sometimes it's, sometimes it's really hard. It's like, okay, how do we show that he's can take away damage or bring back items or banish items or whatever it is, and it's sometimes really tough, but it's a fun challenge for sure.
I wanted to take a step deeper into that question. You may have already answered it, but I'm just curious to know. There's been a couple cards in this set so far that before we actually see the card, they'll reveal the artist spotlight and we'll see the art before. And there's been a couple that people have been like, oh, this is going to be the first dual ink card because there's, hints of
You're not talking
things.
about Stitch at all.
Yeah, no, that's not at all the card that I had in mind when asking. But hearing all of this talk about how much work goes into the art and it conveying the card and its ability, I was curious to know if part of that is not only the mechanic of the card itself, but maybe even the ink pairing that the card might work best with. Is that something that's being considered as well?
So those ones definitely are. That's already decided at the game design level. They're looking at it from that point of view. But one point that I didn't, bring up was also the ink type itself. So when an ink type is being expressed in the art, because that's the other thing is we want to do is how do we, not only does it have that ink bar across there from a UI perspective, but we want to make sure that it shows that this particular glimmer has been, created by this ink as well. Mm-hmm. And so it's either by and you'll notice this. So when they're in their canonical forms, the environment is much more influenced by the ink. That is our way of being able to tell the player that, okay, this is a amber Mickey or something like that, because we can't really change their physical appearance. Now that's starting to go away more as people are starting to learn what the inks are and the actions and what they're doing in the card also, because an ink type is very much is a personality more than like just an ink or a color, should I say. And so, each of them have personality things. And so if they're doing those things, then they're evoking that personality. We also don't want to be in a situation where every amethyst card is, purple background. We did that. We definitely did it in the beginning, but that was a strategic choice to teach people what they were, what those cards were, and then we've slowly dialed back on that, and you'll see it come back every once in a while, and it kind of goes away, and then it kind of just depending on what it is. And then in the case of like a non-canonical character where we're it's like Dreamborn and Floodborn, that's where we can start to play with, okay, how do we bring in that particular ink type's either shape language. So there's something that we'll talk about that we've talked about before. We have the way that it's being expressed visually is very unique in each of their ink types, and then color is also something we use, but it's not the de facto. And so in the case of that Stitch card with the tug of war, people immediately were like, wait, this is a steel ink symbol, but it's a purple flag, like how does that work? And the first thing I said, I actually posted I think on Facebook, Liam might have saw it, but I said the color doesn't matter. Like the ink itself isn't only color, defined by color. And the fact that he's tug of war and the card will turn in will be a steel card, that's what defines it. And imagine if we were to again, we don't want monochromatic characters either, because if we did all the amethyst maleficents and they all had to be purple, that would be terrible. You would never be able to tell the difference between these.
Yeah.
So there's that kind of story. So there is a lot of the ink storytelling that we are doing within that as well. So, and you'll notice it in the backgrounds and just little things. I was looking at some stuff we were doing today, and the buildings are had square shapes and more chunky material, and I'm like, oh, yep, those are steel building, and so.
Yeah, and I have a feeling there's a lot about the ink that we have yet to learn as well. Based on
well, those that are coming to D23 have a
excited.
Shane, we only have you for about five more minutes. We're running very short on time. But
sorry, I can talk forever. As, Michelle Rochelle will tell you they can't get me to stop sometimes. So.
Well, we'll have you on again and again, but I know, respect for your time. I know we had about an hour booked, but we didn't want you to come on the show without the chance to win the very exclusive limited edition. That's not limited. I don't know. They're not printed yet, but Luketeer's trivia pin. That's coming out in the near future. So we've asked our quizmaster Carolyn to cook up some questions for you, and of course you have Rebecca and Brandon here to help you if you'd like to play.
Oh, are they my lifelines? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Photo friends.
I'm so sorry.
We're gonna bring our quizmaster Carolyn here.
I hope I don't humiliate myself in this.
Oh no,
I can't imagine.
It's time.
Okay.
Time. Carolyn usually has a great intro that we play. There you go.
All right.
Carolyn, what do you cook up for us?
So I've cooked up a little trivia gauntlet today based on our enchanted cards that have been revealed for Shimmering Skies so far. So we have 6 of them, I think, that we've seen, including Arabelle, who will be our set championship reward this time around. So we'll start off with some easier questions, and they'll get harder as we go. But I hope you've seen these movies.
I'm scared now.
You're gonna do great, Shane.
All right. What verbal gag is used to introduce Archimedes at the beginning of Sword in the Stone?
Oh gosh, you already got me. That's a Ryan comment. That's his movie.
What verbal?
That is his movie.
Is you.
I know, and it's like.
Wait, say the question one more time.
What joke or verbal gag?
Verbal gag.
Oh wait, I know what it is.
Who?
Introduce.
Who?
What?
Yes.
Oh, what?
What?
No, Rebecca.
No, who? It's who? Yeah, it's who.
I'd like to know who.
Who?
Because originally he just says who, like an owl.
Oh yeah. Who? Okay. Okay.
We'll give Shane that one. 1 point, Shane.
No.
All right. What monstrosity does King Candy become at the end of Wreck-It Ralph? What is that monster called?
Do they call it something? I just know it's like that big crab lobster thing. What is it called?
What is it?
There's a name for that creature that comes in from that other game.
There's a name from it?
Oh, because it's that other game and that he turned. Yeah.
Oh, right. They're like bugs.
Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah.
It's something bug.
Does the bug have king bug? A big bug.
King bug.
King bug.
Flying bug. Bug.
Come on, chat, help us out.
Yeah, come on, chat.
Yeah.
Jungle bug. I don't know.
Flying Noibug?
Noibug.
Taffetoa?
Taffetoa.
Cybug. Good one.
Yes.
Yes. Now that I read it, I'm like, I know that one.
All right. We're rocking it. We're still on track.
At least I feel good that not all you guys know him either. So that's
stumped last
Yeah,
year.
Yeah.
Carolyn
so bad
has
at
hard
trivia.
questions.
All right.
How do Robin Hood and Little John disguise themselves when they first approach?
As
John's
women.
Processional. As women doing what?
They're asking for money for the poor.
No.
They have a crystal
It's
ball.
they're donations, right?
They have a crystal ball.
Oh, that's
in the very
right.
beginning.
Yes, that's right. They have a crystal ball and they want to give him his fortune or something, right?
Yes, they're
Yes.
fortune
Yes.
tellers.
And then
Fortune
they
tellers.
use it to and then he stabs the bottom and he twists it and the coins fall out and yeah.
Fortunes forecast, Lucky Charms.
There you go. Nice.
That was the one video though that the VHS that I think us as kids we had it on repeat. I don't know. That was my
same.
generation.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Same.
We've figured it out, internet. It's Shane who loves Robin Hood.
Well, Shane.
Yes.
Well, it's the other Shane too. So Shane loves Robin Hood as
both
the
of them.
character, And then I like just from a nostalgia standpoint, like my mom, we just had the VHS, and like and then also Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Those two movies. I don't know what it was, but my mom was obsessed.
I mean, Angela Lansbury. How do you really go wrong there?
Where the riches of ages are sold.
We ends up in here singing.
All right.
What is the name of the fictional country that Naveen is the prince of?
Oh gosh.
Moldova.
Oh, you're so close. You're so close.
I know. I'm like, that's not quite it.
You're mixing up the right
well.
one and Genovia from Princess Diaries.
Also a Disney movie. So
Also a Disney movie, yes.
Moldova?
Moldova's a real country.
Ryan, R&B is in the green room.
Maldonia.
Right?
Yes, Maldonia.
Okay.
Yeah, Ryan's in the green. Ryan,
that was R&B.
With an M or an N?
With an N.
Maldonia.
Oh man. All right, we're crushing this.
Good job, Shane.
Yeah.
Shane talked
Why
about
didn't you tell her that you had to have the easy ones for this session?
There are no easy trivia
Caroline
questions when
easy
Carolyn's on the show.
still difficult.
That's why we have multiple people at a time.
Exactly.
Group effort.
In the green room.
You were talking at the beginning about how great your team is. We got you.
Yeah.
Good.
we got R&B in the green room too if we need him. So, all right. One more.
We got it.
Is one of only a few Disney characters to have a middle name.
We lost Shane.
No.
Wait.
Wait.
Hey, there he is.
There he is.
That was weird. It went out and then it came back in. It was like, God, you're not good enough for this game. You're out.
Shane.
3 strikes, you're out.
It's like Survivor. I'd just been kicked off the island. I've been kicked out of the realm of Lorcana.
Oh boy.
All right, last one.
Summon to the Grand Luminary.
Donald Duck is one of a few characters where we know his middle name. Do you know why we know his middle name?
Because it was in a show.
I was like, I can probably scrape his middle name from my gray matter somewhere, but why?
Why we know it?
Oh man, I wish Edgar was here. Edgar on my team, he's one of the lead art directors. He is duck fanatic. Like he knows everything about the ducks. He just I'm just Donald. Is it Donald P?
It's not Donald P, but I don't need you to tell me his middle name. Although
just why we
why we know it. What story were we told?
R&B knows.
Bring R&B
I think it'd be appropriate for
bring the ringer in.
All right,
bring him in. Bring him in.
There he is.
I'm struggling. I'm struggling in the green room, y'all.
What's the answer?
So you don't want his actual middle name, which is
I just want to know why.
It's from one of the episodes from like the 1940s.
It's the military short.
Yes, it's the military short where Donald gets drafted.
Yes.
Okay.
Because Donald served in the military. Do you know what branch of the military?
It was Army.
No, it was the Navy.
Navy.
Yeah.
The Navy.
He's a sailor.
It's okay.
That makes sense.
It's okay. He chose to join the second best branch. Nobody.
Oh.
I agree. All right.
That is one of our off limits animation shorts. So just so you know.
That I understand. Shane, you have earned a Illumiteer's trivia pin for
Good job, Shane.
several of those correct. But it was a group effort and we were all stumped, and I venture to guess that none of us would have gotten that alone. So but thanks for the trivia, Carolyn. Amazing as always.
Yeah, thank you for humiliating me. This is good. I need to be humbled, as my wife would say all the time.
We were all humbled.
Yeah.
But now I have Bedknobs and Broomsticks stuck in my head, so there's that. So I think
yes,
it's a win.
The scene where they're floating, like the bed and that's
beautiful, briny
bubbling along.
Yeah, and then that amazing soccer match.
There are
the soccer match.
Animated characters in Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Characters in
I'm just saying.
There are.
Noted. We have it.
No
Just
comment.
observing, just for no reason.
Yeah,
At
like
all.
it's like this list that I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'll just note this, you know.
Duly noted.
Yeah, Shane, I hadn't thought of that before.
Thank you. I do like the subtle Powerline shirt there too. That's a good ad.
You know, it's something I threw on.
You're just trying to like subtly, like it's like subtle cues in the.
Are you telling me it
Put
stands
it in
out?
your mind.
Yeah. Anyway, Shane, thanks so much. Hope we can have you back sometime. Like, this was awesome. We learned a lot.
Yeah, definitely bucket list. Actually, if you go onto our Twitter account, this is actually on our 2024 bucket list items.
Wow,
It's true.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, you'll have to talk to my agent, and my handler Rochelle, and she will let you know when I can come back.
Our people will call your people. We'll see what we can do. Shane, thanks so much. This was
who's going to be a D23?
Rebecca.
I will be there. Yes.
Awesome.
Rebecca gets to go.
I'm so excited.
You get to see that new Mickey. You get to see that new Mickey card.
I will.
I mean,
and get the anniversary pin, hopefully.
I had a pass.
Rebecca, we may be
just come
talking
to the
after
door,
this.
and I'll just creak it open, and I'll hand you something, and then.
There's gonna be good stuff. I'm excited. There's gonna be some cool panels there too, and everything. I mean, yeah, I'm really excited to see what you all have in store for us.
It's gonna be cool. Yeah, we got. I think they announced all the panels. Like, so they've got. I know that we have their main stage.
There's three. There's three that they announced. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if they haven't announced all the panels, we don't know. But we
I think that's the three.
Just go ahead.
We have the main stage, we have the artist panel, and then we have the narrative panel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I
Just
want
really,
to see all of them. So Rebecca has agreed to record them for me.
Yeah, if you could put them on YouTube.
Get your arms ready, because you're gonna be holding
I know.
for a long time.
You're like, somebody's head gets in the way. You're like, hey.
No.
No, Liam, I'm just gonna send Rebecca one of those like lapel camcorders, and she's just gonna wear it and just be like live streaming to both
or
of us.
like on my glasses.
Yeah,
just like a little.
Get you like the Spy Kids glasses.
Yeah. Great.
Yep.
Well, I'll see you there, Shane.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited. You'll meet my wife too. She's coming out. So.
Oh, fantastic.
She's got to see all the craziness.
Yes.
I'm making her work the booth though.
Oh wow. that'll be an experience.
Yeah,
that'll be an experience.
Jealousy increases.
Well, thank you so much for having me. That was awesome, and definitely let me know if you want me to come back and humiliate me again.
Rochelle, we want him to come back.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks again, Shane. This is such a treat.
Bye.
Thanks, Shane.
See ya. Bye.
All right. And Rebecca, I know you probably have to go here too. Would you like to hang out for the next segment, or I know you had other things to get to?
I'm probably gonna head. I'm on my own with the kids tonight, so I'm gonna head out too. So
well, tell them we said hello, and we may make that announcement we talked about later on, probably at around 10 or something. If you want to, we might.
Maybe I'll pop back. Yeah, shoot me a message.
I'll send you a note. All right.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Rebecca, and then Carolyn, we're gonna have you back in a little bit. We have another game queued up, I think, right?
I'll be around. I'll be back when you least expect it, Ryan.
Yes, and we'll do the intro.
No ominous.
Well, that was a treat, and now we have. I mean, that was a treat. I don't know how to.
How are you doing this
week,
Ryan?
Complete. Life is complete. I don't know.
How are you doing this week, Ryan?
I'm doing fantastic. I had my birthday was on Friday, so like I had
happy late birthday.
Yeah, I'm 21, guys. Copium. Yay.
Sure. I know how long you were in the army. That is not true. You can't enlist when you're 12.
You're right. I'm 24. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's not true either. Well, happy birthday. But I do want to chat with you, but I don't want to be even more rude. We have other guests. We've got a segment coming up, and I've got a really cool intro. I'm excited to play it. So I'm going to play the intro. I'm going to bring everybody in. We've invited you here, you, Ryan, and your other friends, for a segment that we're calling This is the Lab Fab 5.
Hey.
Shimmering Skies.
That's some awesome intro music.
I made that in 30 seconds.
Well, in case you'll ever want to have your own show where you go around the country making over Lorcana decks, you now have an intro music.
Yeah.
Did anybody get
I
that?
just want to do a
Does
team
anybody know what the
rave.
Fab 5 is? Anybody
Coming
here?
to an HGTV near you.
So Kendall, Sailor, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We're really excited to have the three of you here.
Hey, good night. Good night.
Yeah, this is that's really cool. We had this. I've always wanted to get, like, I have this pipe dream of getting like all of Team Labyrinth on a live stream at the same time. But I don't know.
That's a lot of coordination.
It's a lot of coordination.
There are a lot of you.
But yeah, but I'm really excited to have the three of you. We had this idea for this segment because there have been a lot of great Lorcana cards revealed, and I do not have the stamina to do what Brandon and Jonty did on a week-to-week basis and go through all of them. And I'm also, I'm a fairly okay Lorcana player, but you all are some of the best Lorcana players, doing really well in challenges, and I think some of the top names in Lorcana right now. And
Definitely.
so we wanted to talk about some cards, and we thought we would ask you what your top 5 cards. So this is very unstructured because I asked you all what your top 5 cards were in Shimmering Skies. It was before the dump today, and I didn't give you any criteria. I wasn't like favorite art, favorite mechanics. I was just like, what are your top 5 cards? And so I'm really excited to see what you all picked. Well, I know what you picked.
I'm excited to see what y'all picked. I don't know what you picked.
Yeah.
I wonder if we had some overlap because we didn't discuss this like internally or anything.
No, at all.
I didn't
also,
really want there to be overlap. I was like, I wonder what they picked because I don't want but we'll see.
I picked some cards that are not just competitive.
Yeah,
I know.
I had 1 or 2 picks like that.
Yeah, I know people will recognize this as maybe like the competitive side of Lorcana, but we can be Disney fans too. We can be other things than competitive.
My entire world got turned upside down with today's reveals. Like I was so distraught because there were so many things that like I loved out of the last little push of reveals that I'm just like, man, if I'd have known. Oh.
You did.
There's spicy things.
That's true.
Well, maybe at the end of the top 5, then we can talk about what you would have now put in.
That is true.
Spice.
Well, I did get a note from Ryan saying Mill is back, so I'm really curious to what you meant.
I'm so excited.
He always says that, though. He always says that.
I do in fact always. So like one of the first things I do at the start of every single set is to like recheck if Mill is viable. So like I'm in like a new set is about to drop in like a week and a half, so I'm in the Mill's back baby stage. It's gonna
speaking it into existence. Is that what's happening?
So here's the thing, like I think especially today's reveals definitely changed the game. I know a lot of people are probably sleeping on her, but I think that the 2 Mother Gothels are just, number 1, amazing artwork. Number 2, amazing cards specific to like the Mill strategy and like keeping your opponent off tempo, like bouncing your opponent's stuff back to their hand. We got another awesome shift line with a bounce attached to it that can also sing a whole new world. Like chef's kiss.
Well, now you're skipping ahead to the last segment. No, that's okay.
Gosh, Ryan.
Got too excited.
He's too excited about milling us, which is
I have no idea.
You thought this card was miserable? How about getting milled, people?
Yeah. You saying that he says Mill's back every set makes me feel like there's this 5-stage of Mill for Ryan where he's like, I'm excited, Mill is back, and then like doubt, and then like despair, and then like acceptance eventually. And then it happens every set.
Yes, that is my entire process.
Let's take a look at your cards. So there is some overlap here. I did kind of ask a couple of you for like rankings, but then I didn't quite rank them all because when there was overlap, I put them on the same slide. So this is the first slide. So yeah, definitely some overlap here. R&B Kendall with Prince Naveen, and then Elsa there, the 5th Spirit. Why these choices?
Okay, so I'm gonna start Elsa because I've put something else than the other guys. I think Elsa looks a bit like obnoxious, like not really a great body, but I think she does a lot of different things well, and together it gets we have a good card. So first, it has evasive, right? So it takes out Diablo and survive. She also has rush, right, which is really important because the Diablo player could be potentially dealing with her if she didn't have the rush, right? And then when you play her, you can exert the card that you want to banish immediately, right? So I think it has a lot of uses in a deck that we haven't seen all that much, which is Sapphire and Amethyst, right? Because they were lacking some sort of what we call removal, right? Things to banish the opposing characters. And I think she provides all that while being inkable, right? And it's rare in Lorcana that we get like really flexible cards that are that can banish things and stuff like that, but that are also inkable. So I think she just does everything, basically. Everything she does is just not like flashy or too great, but all mixed together makes for a really good flexible card, and I think it will open up some of the archetypes maybe that were not too good. And also, set one, Elsa can shift onto it. So we might have like a great shift target as well. So I think altogether it's a really good card.
That's awesome. So Kendall, how about Prince Naveen?
Should me first?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was my third pick. Basically, I sent it to you in rankings. This was my third pick.
You did, and I matched them up so that we weren't. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just letting people know this was my third pick for the set. This card is just super powerful. I think it's like the most powerful card in the game. The Prince Naveen and Diablo, like super close. I think like 1 and 2 is like most broken cards, most powerful cards in the game. We already know that like singing songs is one of the best mechanics in Lorcana, like most powerful mechanics in Lorcana. And if you can just play him and don't even have to sing, that's broken. I don't know. Coming into play and singing either one, A Whole New World, or We Don't Talk About Bruno, probably like the two best things to sing off of him. But a 3/3 that quests for 2 is not bad. Like the only downside to this card is it's uninkable, but I think it has to be because everything else on the card is just super powerful. The artwork's great too, and then I think after I sent you this, they spoiled the enchanted. The enchanted's also great. So yeah, I think this is. It was my third pick, but I think it is like the most powerful card probably in the set, and also, yeah, probably in the game as well. I don't really know between it and Diablo. We'll have to see, but
yeah. I'm gonna move on to the next one. Ryan, I do care what you have to say, but I of course, but and we'll do you first on the next slide because we have another double. You
guys are brothers or what?
What do you think, Ryan?
So Pete, I absolutely like love this card. So for those of you that don't know, I previously played this little online card game called Hearthstone, and they had a creature card in that game called Lotheb. And what Lotheb was, it was a creature you could play, and spells your opponent cast cost 5 next on the next turn. It was a very, very good card, like absolutely broken mechanic. And so something that I've wanted in Lorcana is kind of like the taxes style deck, which like this is a very taxing card. Turning off your opponent's ability to play an integral piece of their deck, I think, is an insanely powerful ability. You think about, back to the set 2 Madam Mim packages as well. The ability to continuously like recycle this card with Madam Mim snakes and Madam Mim foxes to just lock your opponent out of ever being able to cast their removal spells or their board wipes, I think is quite good. I do think that this is one of the best cards in the set. I think I had him listed at number 3, and the only reason I had him listed at number 3 is because numbers 1 and 2 were just so absolutely like bonkers good that like this had to be number 3. But I think it's probably tied with the number 1 best common or uncommon in the entire set, though.
Where did you have Naveen at?
Number 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Pete was my number 2. So
I had Naveen at 1 because like Naveen is the type of card that moving forward in the game designers are gonna have to say, should it be a 6-cost song or a 7-cost song? Like Naveen is that good. Like it will limit design space in the future for fear of that card being so overpowered that it becomes a tier 0 meta.
Wow. Yeah, and makes the Sing Together cards that much more appealing too.
I think that was maybe one reason, going a little off topic, is why the Merlin was cost 6, right? The one that can tutor when he shifts, because if you could just tutor Be Prepared and sing it in the same turn, probably really powerful.
Way too
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So this Mufasa, what's the impact here?
Okay, so Mufasa actually is, I don't think it will be too much meta defining, because I think the uninkability kills it a little bit. I think it's an extremely powerful effect. The play patterns where it's going to shine the most is if you ramped with Fishbone Quill, and then you play this once you have the 8 ink, you return 2 of your ink back into your hand, so you go back to 6. But on the following turn, since you have the Fishbone Quill, you can go back to 8 immediately, right? So the downside of getting from 8 to 6 is negated somewhat by the Fishbone Quill. And on the following turn, if it survives, and the body is pretty hard to be dealing with, right? So it's not exactly easy, especially if you succeeded on ramping quite quickly to be able to play it. And so on the following turn, you would be inking back to 8, and you would spend 8, right? Either like on a lucky dime, maybe. Quests for 4, untap all your 8 ink, and I don't know, play a Madame Medusa, activate your lucky dime with Mufasa, for example, right? All these really, really powerful turns that it can activate, for me, makes for a really exciting card. I was really excited for this one, but I think there's one card that is my one of my top 2 cards of the set. Makes it so that I don't think we're gonna live in a world in which Mufasa can be played, right? So I think a world where Mufasa can be played would be a kind of a slow format where it's really grindy, and it's right. It's gonna provide with a lot of value, and it's gonna be ending the game when it's not answered and stuff like that. But in a meta game in which characters are turning sideways, as we say, and questing, this is going to be really hard to be justifying putting it in your deck, right? Because of the 8 cost.
So you're saying if there's a lot of low cost cards with high lore in this set that can get on the board early and start to quest really fast, then it may speed things up, and you might not get to the end game. Perhaps a card like Daisy Duck.
Exactly. That's the one card I was referencing to. I've dressed up in amber today because for me, this is the card of the set. This is the
Heck
one.
Yeah, I like to hear that.
This is more impactful than Naveen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
On the meta currently, yeah, probably. This is more impactful. I mean, if we're talking about raw power, it's the only reason. This was my number 2. I put Naveen at number 1 because raw power in a vacuum, like Naveen's probably one of the most powerful things you can do in the game. But like, what's going to impact the meta is Daisy Duck. Daisy Duck will give the opportunity for aggressive strategies to breathe again, which I'm so thankful for. I think that aggro, for the most part, has been non-existent in the competitive meta for Lorcana since set 1. Set 1 was like the last time it was kind of fringe playable. You know, the Amber Emerald aggro deck where it's like Lilo into Simba into Just-in-Time Cusco. Like that was the closest thing that we've really had to like real aggro being a viable strategy. I think that Daisy Duck, like, it's the stat line for me. Like not concerned at the fact that it's uninkable. A 1-cost 1/4 says you are not going to be able to deal with this card essentially until turn 3 with any combination of cards. Like nothing. Like Brawl obviously is going to be an answer. The human Sisu is going to be an answer. Fox bouncing something and then running into it's also going to be an answer. You could go like Captain Hook on 1 into the Mickey, the 1/3 Mickey that when you play it gives a character +2 challenger. Like that would technically work as well. But the beauty about Daisy is you put her behind a couple of bodyguards, and this card says I quest for like 8.
Yeah, I think I put this card at number 4. It is probably more meta defining than Naveen, but I wanted to hype up Naveen more because I don't want to hype up this card. Like Sailor said, like I like the grindy formats, right? I mean, I'm a Ruby Amethyst player, so this card is definitely a menace. Again, like it's the stat line being a 1/4 when I first saw it when it was first spoiled. We didn't have a lot of the spoilers. I was like, man, we must be getting some more great 1-drops to maybe deal with this thing. And yeah, like it being like turn 3 as an answer, good for at least 4 lore probably, and that's really all you care about anyways, but backed by bodyguards. Or if you insane demon hands where they have like triple Daisy Duck, turn 1 Daisy, turn 2 2 more daisies, and
game's just over. Game's over before it even began.
Man, and it's super rare. I'm thinking like the first turn Lilo and Maleficence, those are rares. Like this is a super rare, and you're gonna need 4 of these if you're running an aggro deck. So
this card's so good.
Multiple archetypes too, right?
Oh
like,
yeah,
many colors gonna be paired with Ember to try to abuse that card.
Oh yeah, you could go. I mean, I could see Amber Emerald aggro like with like a discard synergy. I could see Amber Amethyst as like a really hyper aggressive strategy. I could see Amber Steel as an aggro strategy backed by really good removal songs. Like this card's going to be very versatile.
And I just want to add the reason why this is meta defining and how it changes aggro and stuff like that. I think Ryan said it is the 4 willpower, but historically aggro were kept down by steel, which was damage removal, right? Based on willpower. So it does like the Let the Storm Rage On is the most broken card against aggro, right? It keeps aggro in check almost by itself. Also, the Grab Your Sword, and this card survives all of that, right? Like it's really where it pulls its strength.
Yeah, you don't really care if there's Zeus bolting your 1-drop.
Sure.
Yeah. No, exactly.
The artwork's also great too. I wish this was an enchanted. That'd have been cool.
Same.
Maybe it will be. It might be.
It might be, right?
I just thought a great idea. They should do a fully enchanted set. Like they'd be like a collector's thing.
That'd be cool.
The whole set is enchanted, but
all right. That's a great idea, and it would hurt my wallet. I'm already struggling. All right, next card. We have another overlap. Breezy's pretty excited because we have some Kuzcos here. And Kendall, you were the only one with the elephant, so I don't know who wants to go first.
Yeah, I'll talk about the elephant first really quick. That was my number 1, I guess for obvious reasons. Yeah, it's just another bounce effect in my favorite deck. So the bounce effects are really powerful. That's a lot of them. I like playing 10. The number sounds good, 10. So maybe playing 2, but you might just be jamming 4 of them in there. Also, the new 1-drop Cogsworth that was spoiled today probably combos really well with this thing. So the fact that you can immediately give the elephant rush and put damage on it for the following turn. So yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room. But yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of things going for it. Sinkable, it's purple. The 3/7 is really hard to deal with. Like it doesn't die to Maui, it does die to Medusa, obviously, but again, just another bounce effect for your rabbit or goat is really great. So
and it banishes Diablo, right?
Does well, kind of.
It does.
You move the damage.
It can.
Yeah, you can move the damage. So that's that's probably. I mean, the second hidden thing about the card. But most people don't read to. I'm just looking at bounce, but then again, like it getting damage will hopefully help against like aggro decks as well, because if you put damage on it to already take out one of their characters, a 3/7's probably going to be able to take out most things in aggro other than that Daisy. And yeah, so you have 2 damage on it already ready for their next character that they play. So they potentially can't even play a character to the board, because when they pass turn to you, you're just going to take it out. You know, they're playing all the little Lilos and Maleficents and stuff like that. So
Teeth and Ambitions is back, maybe, right?
yeah, Teeth and Ambitions is really good with this card as well. So, but yeah, that's all I gotta say about Mim. But that was my number 1. More so just it's my play style, I guess. Whereas Cusco's there for y'all.
Yeah, for being on brand.
Yeah,
we like
yeah.
I'll
Cusco.
talk about the Cusco. I
What's not to love?
I gotta send it. Yeah,
all
right.
This card does everything. First, it's inkable, so it can be a resource. Second, it deals with items, right? And a very effective way, because Lucky Dime cannot be retrieved with Tamatoa now that it's in the Inkwell. And it deals with locations, which was something that Blue really had a hard time to deal with, specifically the Queen's Castle. It quests for 2. It's a decent body. And it has this other ability that can protect your board, and you can even use it to at multiple times in the same turn, right? And in blue, in Sapphire, sorry, you should have a lot of ink, right? So you could pay, I don't know, 12 and give everyone else 3 resist plus 3. I don't know what this card doesn't do, to be honest. It just does everything at in an inkable spot. For me, it's just like an auto-inclusion in most of the blue Sapphire decks.
I think it's probably my favorite card of the entire set. If like this is my number 4 card. I just ranking on pure power alone, but preferential. This is my favorite card of the set.
That's awesome.
I forget who I had this conversation with, if it was in Dallas or if we were in like team Discord or something like that. But it's obviously great. It answers like Castle for one. But one thing I had brought up before was I'm a big fan and wanted to see more of, well, in Magic they would be called mana sinks, but like this is an ink sink. I don't know. Something to do with your ink, like when you don't have anything else going on. You know,
you don't
like
want to overcommit into the board.
Yeah, you like draw a character and play it. Like you have all this other ink. So like Pongo is a good example for that too, right? Like you just can do something with your ink other than just like playing characters or whatever. So this is just giving you something else to do with your ink if you don't have any other cards or you don't really want to like overextend into other things. I think I'm a fan of those things.
Love it. All right, the ink sink thing is a great point. Yeah, I actually like how it comes across too. It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah,
ink sink.
The ink sink. All right, we have 3 more cards to get to, and then another guest waiting in the green room who we have to bring in here. But for the, I would say top 3, but they're out of order. But the last 3. Here we are.
Ooh, you broke out the enchanted.
Kendall did.
Yep, that was my number 5, and it was purely because of just the art. I'm
so good.
Not quite sure how
channel, Kendall.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how playable it is, but this is just definitely one of the cooler enchanteds that I've seen. So
it's awesome.
I like purple too. Like I'm a big World of Warcraft fan. It's just like purple equals win. I like the elephants. I like, but yeah, just really cool enchanted art. So that was just a pick for me in my top 5 for the set.
It's bonkers cool. So every set there's an enchanted that I like have to have, and that this is, I think, mine.
I don't know. Prince Naveen might have edged Archimedes out. Like I was like all on the Archimedes train, then I was like, ooh, Prince Naveen's gorgeous.
Yeah. This is the most beautiful enchanted card in the game. Like not even close. It's so good.
It's gonna look great like in person as far as like the
rolling
and stuff. Like this
they're always better. They're always better in person, right?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. The artwork on this is just absolutely top tier.
So
hey, Ryan, talk about your sheriff.
Yeah, the Sheriff Von Nottingham, which we don't have in English yet.
I absolutely love this card. So like not only is it one of my favorite IPs ever, Robin Hood, like I absolutely love this card. Again, like kind of playing on the fact that like I played Hearthstone. There was a deck in Hearthstone that was called Handlock. And like the whole point of the deck was to get your health really, really low. And you had this card called Molten Giant, who it costs 20 to play, but it cost 1 less for each damage your hero had taken. So essentially you could get to a point where you could play 3 or 4 of them for free and then heal back up the entirety of your health bar. So like the negative downside was just completely gone from it. So Sheriff of Nottingham is my version of Molten Giant. I love items. I am Tamatoa. Tamatoa is me. I want to play all of the items, like all of the popsicles and Fortispheres, and I want to fire off a whole new world and ramp and just get to a point where I wheel into 3 or 4 of these things and just get to play 3 or 4 of them for free. Like that's going to be my babe. One of the 3 babies that I have this set is going to be just Molten Giant Blue Steel.
Yeah. And Sailor, you were pretty adamant that this card was your number 1. You mentioned to me numerous times. What makes this card so special?
Okay, Sapphire Ruby. I'm the Ruby Sapphire guy, right? So I think it was really, really, really heavily missing something to do something else than 1 jump ahead on 2, right? And I think this is the perfect card to be playing along the 1 jump ahead, right? So it makes so that you have either playing the 1 jump ahead on 2 and then go immediately to the 4. So that's 1 line, right? That we were all like basically basing my whole deck around. But now I have this other line where I play Shisha and I play her best friend, which is the Fishbone Quill on 3, ink 2 times and draw a card. And from now on, every quill activation is going to provide me with a card. So basically it gives the quill activation for free every turn. Also, it's a 2 power strength body, right? So it can stop the opposing Flynn for at least 1 turn. And the whole thing that I wanted to have on turn 2 as a character to maybe contest the board if I have to, or stop the Flynn. Now I have that, but that also draws card for something that I already want to do, which is ramping, right? So I think this card is everything I wanted, and I would also really good with singing 1 jump ahead if it can, or how far I'll go also works with it. So there's all these bunch of ramp cards that works really wonderfully with it. Really excited.
Love it. Well, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. That was Lab Fab 5. I'm gonna do that again sometime. I have a vision now of doing this, like the top 5 Amber cards, the top 5 like Ruby card. Like we could make this the whole thing.
That has been on your bucket list for a long time. So I'm glad you gentlemen gave him an excuse to do it.
Rhyme so well. I did have some, plenty more we could talk about, but I do want to bring in our next guest here, who we're really excited to talk about his performance at DFW Disney Lorcana Challenge. And I'm really excited, for you all to be here. If you can hang out for a little bit longer, because you were some of the best minds in Lorcana, and I can't wait to see you all chat about Edmund's deck. But excited to welcome Edmund Chu. Ed, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been quite a journey.
I was standing next to R&B when you won. We were like right by the stage the moment you won, and we were chatting, and we like just turned around and we're like, oh my gosh, he just won. It was incredible. It was so incredible to witness. So congratulations. That was an amazing performance.
Yeah, I for some reason, I think one of the first things I saw after I got off the stage was Ryan like walking out to me. It's like, hey, congratulations, man. So yeah, it was a really good moment. And yeah, for me, it was very emotional, but after a while, like, it settled in.
I'm so proud of you, Ed. You have no idea, man. Like when you won, brother, I was like, that's my boy right there. That's my boy, Ed. Like, oh, it felt so
against the Giant too, right? That was like not a great matchup. You were really from behind, and you like the win just like was
that
something
Sisu
special.
Off the top was just crazy.
Yeah. So it was really cool to like also have it on camera. Like I think I was definitely like the underdog in that matchup, and it kind of reminded me of like the CCS AK, right? Like it was me versus Zan in the finals. Yep. And I felt very like, okay, at the time maybe I was a little naive. I thought I was like, oh, I looked at his deck, I was like, what is this? Like 20 uninkables, like this deck is highly unfunctional. And then, oh man, he showed me like the power of that deck. So it was very reminiscent of that. And yeah, that day I lost, right? And, you know, I came back and I felt like I was able to kind of get the edge on him on that particular day.
Having been at the previous 3 challenges and this one being the first one where the audience could actually like watch the final games as they were going on, I just remember being in the back, like prepping to cast, or maybe I don't remember if I was on cast at the time or not, but we just heard an eruption like from outside as soon as you won. It was the coolest thing out of all of the 3 that we've been to so far, just to have that moment.
Babies were crying. The roar of the crowd was so intense.
Babies were crying.
Yeah.
Babies were.
Yes,
Yeah,
there was.
a particular one. That reminds me during the it's just a funny story, but randomly during the it wasn't during that part, it was during the award ceremony where it was really loud. We were casting and they told us, hey, we have to turn your volume down because we're picking up the award ceremony, so you have to talk loud. And I felt like that scene in The Office where like Dwight is like getting pranked by Jim and he's screaming into the phone. That was us casting because we were like, I'm like screaming. They're like louder. I'm like, you have to talk louder, Liam. Anyway, caster stories. Let's take a look at your deck, Ed. And I'm it's
very small. It's because we have so many people. You have to do that one.
Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this and make it really big. I'm excited Kendall's here because Kendall, I think, is one of the, who I consider one of the experts on this particular deck. So I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this build, Kendall.
You want me to go first?
No,
Yeah.
let's
let
let
Ed.
Ed.
I'm sorry, you're right.
It's Ed's deck.
How
He
rude.
won with the thing.
I'm so rude. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ed. All right.
Anyway, I'd love to talk about the deck for a little while.
Sure.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it, Ed.
So, I mean, obviously, like I think the normal build of the deck before this one was like, you know, the George, Kendall, Luca list, right? With the 4 Chernobyls and the 3 Medusa, 3 or 2 Tremaine BKU split with the 4 Be Prepared. And I think like it makes sense, right? Like you want to have those like power plays with like the tempo with BKU and then the value with like the ladies and the Medusa. But when I tested that build into like Emerald Steel, I thought that I was like just discarding the BKU and Tremaine very often. And I was inking a lot of cards that I really didn't want to ink, right? Like the Friends, you definitely don't want to ink that. And like the Maleficent also potentially can get you to the next card that could be a Be Prepared or a Rabbit. So with that kind of mindset, I wanted to decrease the amount of uninkables that were not favored into Emerald Steel and add more inkable cards to give the deck a little bit more flexibility. And something else I've kind of noticed was that the 1-drop slot, like me personally, I really liked playing something on 1, even though like I know there was like a huge discussion, like, you know, you just want to block Flynn Rider, and that was like the main goal. So yeah, in a way, Magic Room doesn't, because it only has 1 strength, right? But I've noticed that it can also give you an out to play Snake when you don't have like a Chernobog or a Flynn Rider to block your opposing Flynn Rider. So I definitely wanted like additional 1-drops, and I thought Magic Broom was probably the best one, especially like, you know, it's very similar to Chernobog. It lets you kind of cycle through your deck, and you know, you have the flexibility of either leaving it on the field when, you know, your opponent has a Sisu as well, and you want to, you know, maintain that hand parity so, you know, you don't take damage from your opposing Flynn Rider. And if you need to to pop it for your resources, you can always kind of manipulate your board state to recover the card. So with that in mind, I kind of, you know, decrease the amount of uninkables. And I think I discussed this before. Like I follow like Matthew Wright on Twitter, and he said that he attributed a lot of his success to having low uninkables, because with low uninkables, you don't have to ink like your goats and your castles and your Madam Mim cards. And those are the ones that really help you like finish the game, right? Like in a lot of my feature matches, like a lot of the games ended with like a lot of castles, and then you bounce your goats a couple times and the game is over, right? So with that in mind, I kind of framed the deck in this way, where the lower end of the deck was mostly just to draw until you get to the point where you can like play Be Prepared or a Timely Sisu, and then force your opponent to act on that turn, use up a lot of their resources to deal with that, and then you can kind of end the game with multiple castles and goats.
I watched your semifinals match today against Emerald Steel. Bucky discard, and at one point, like, I'm casually just like counting. Like, I paused the video to like count the number of cards you had in your hand, and you had like 14 or 15 cards in hand, and I was just like, man, wish I could have that many cards against Bucky.
That's how this is supposed to go.
Like, yeah, I mean, the castle definitely helps a lot, right? Like, if you're able to get to the point where you attrition your opponent out, you guys are trading cards back and forth, there will be a time where like your opponent can't deal with the castle, and then you just put like as many characters as you can in there, and then you'll draw like 4 cards a turn, right? So you go from like, 5 to like 10, and then they can't kill it again. I'll draw another 5, right? So I think that's kind of where that kind of card advantage comes from, when your opponent can't deal with your castle in particular.
I'm scared to call on anybody.
No, okay. So now, Kendall, with your experience on this deck and being kind of the Ruby Amethyst go-to guy, what do you think about Edmund's deck? Did you see him coming in and just dominating, what was supposed to be Bucky's swan song of a tournament?
Well, me and Ed have known each other since, I guess, like the Charlie's 8K. And so we talk at each of the challenges. We don't ever really message each other before the challenges, like, hey, what are you playing? But each time he's always playing something crazy. But like he did pretty well. He did pretty well in Chicago's top 64 or top 32, right? Top 32.
Yeah, top 32.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Ed's a really good player. I think he's like one of the lesser known players that I always tell is like really good. All the people that I'm coaching and they want like some Ruby Amethyst stuff, if they're like in that 20 lore Discord, I'm like, these are the people when they talk in the Ruby Amethyst channel, like you should probably listen to, or follow his tournament results and stuff too, like that. So, yeah, like after he won, I had a lot of questions about the deck from people that I was coaching. Oh, like, what do you think about the deck? And there was a lot of things that I did like about it. Like, one, I was jealous because, he got to play 12 uninkables and 8 1-drops are like the 2 best things that I like about the deck. Because I think like in the last set, I was always real proponent of playing like 8 1-drops, even like up to like 10 1-drops. It was just really important. It was more important to go 1-drop into Snake. So the fact that he pulled the trigger on that was really cool, because like, I mean, for Dallas, I didn't get away from that. After the tournament, I did decide to play more 1-drops, but I'm still like currently on 6. Yeah, I mean, those were the 2 big things that I liked about the deck. And I just wasn't a fan of the Sisus, but they worked out great for him. And it was also a call because he expected less blue decks. And I think you didn't play against any blue decks like in day 1, and neither did I. So like that was obviously like a really great meta call. And that just shows like how good of a player he is as far as like calling a meta, stuff like that. That's really important.
So
I
played all the Sapphire Mirrors for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I played 5 Ruby Amethyst Mirrors. I didn't play against a single blue deck day 1. Yeah, that's really the only thing. And I don't think that, Ed's a really great player. Like I've told a couple of people this, I was like, oh yeah, he could just win with the ham sandwich. Like it doesn't matter. Like the 2 Sisus are in his deck. But
this is the portion of the show where we just say really nice things about you and make you very uncomfortable. Everybody, let's just talk about how great Ed is all the time.
No, yeah, but Ruby Amethyst is just a good deck in the fact that you can kind of adjust to the meta, which he did for Dallas. Going to Toronto, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to, like copy his 60 and paste it into your deck list. Like you can still flex some spots for sure. There's obviously like a core of the deck that you're not going to change. But yeah, are you going to Toronto, Ed?
Oh yeah, but yeah, we're cooking up, the new
Yeah,
look
yeah,
for that,
definitely.
like, with the post Bucky kind of format. But I mean, I still think Big Sisu is probably still like very strong, especially against like green yellow. I expect a lot of like green style, amber style decks, and even though they see it coming, like you still have to kind of expend some resources to deal with the Sisu, and usually those kind of resources are at a premium, right? Like Sisu is 4 health. You're gonna have to Zeus it or expend some amount of characters to have enough characters on board to use Strength of the Raging Fire or something like that. So I still think this card is pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think the Sisu made sense in Dallas, and I think it makes more sense in Toronto for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting. Brandon and I are picking up all of our nuggets for our next.
Yeah. I already have stuff like rolling. I'm listening to these guys talk, taking mental notes the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I've already wrote out 3 deck lists today for Shimmering Skies. I'm so ready. But I do want to say one thing though, and this is R&B going on the record. So the Mount Rushmore right now of Ruby Amethyst is Kendall. No, I'm not. Lucas Serrano.
Who's in the chat?
The Googe. I think we can all agree Googe is pretty good.
Yeah.
TFM
Ed.
Googe.
Ed, you're on the Mount Rushmore now.
Sure.
My Mount Rushmore has 5 heads because I am also going to include Matthew Wright.
Oh, you're so North American though.
I mean,
so are you. You're also North American.
No. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about someone who won Bochum, who also is the only player who won 2 Mickeys.
I can't pronounce Bochum, so that's why.
So the winner from Bochum, right? He which is his nickname is Itsu. Really good player. I've seen some of his interviews and it was pretty good, pretty informative. It's in French though because he's a French guy, but yeah, very good player.
Yeah, I did speaking of Luca real quick, I played a set champ yesterday and I remember playing a mirror match. And I forced a Be Prepared out of my opponent and I took a page out of Luca's book and I played 3 castles the following turn. And I was like, oh yeah.
Did you sling him on the table like he does? I've seen some of those clips too.
Yeah. He does it with the goats too. It's either 3 goats or 3 castles.
He dropped triple. He dropped triple
did that on me
on
twice.
Kendall.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, Edmund did that in top 16 too, right? You dropped 3 castles against Din.
Yeah, against So I mean, that's a really good play, right? Like it's very hard to deal with, right? And I think you only can get there with the low uninkables. Like most of the time, if you have too many inkables, it's kind of hard because sometimes you have to ink your castle to get to like those important thresholds of like, Be Prepared plus something else, right? So
yeah, fascinating. Yeah, the triple castle is something, I don't know. It's just mean. Like it's
I just always go, ooh, as soon as I see it.
Like, I see your triple castle and I raise you triple Cusco.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Also, Lorcana Bell mentioned too. I think, we need a bigger than Mount Rushmore because there's quite a few like good red purple players. Like Michael Ferrante and El Rathion, I think, are ones too. And then Lorcana Bell mentions Alberto Garcia, which is also like not well known as much, but like he's top 2 challenges. So he won a Mickey and he was 1 more match away because Chicago.
He's topped all 3.
Oh yeah.
That's Capu.
I think.
Okay, sorry. When you say top, you mean day 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm meaning top as in like top 8, but yeah, that does mean he has made day 2 of all the challenges, and he was top 8 in Chicago, which was only top 4 Mickeys. So
Shh, Kendall, I'm just trying to gas up my friends, okay?
I think he was top 8 in Atlanta and Chicago, right?
Right. Yeah. So he was 1 match away from 2 Mickeys. Yeah, and he also day 2 Dallas. So
I'm doing some research here. Hold on.
Now the chat is just blowing up all the great Ruby Amethyst players.
Yeah.
There's so many of them. Like I specifically like kept it to North American players just because Mount Rushmore is in North America.
Like, I was fooling with you.
I can like I don't want to turn Mount Rushmore into Hydra of like Ruby Amethyst legends, but like.
So Ed, how are you feeling going into day 2? How are you feeling kind of going into that top match, piloting your deck?
Yeah. So I mean, I like Chicago, I was day 2 as well. So I'm not necessarily like, just completely new to it.
Yeah.
And like, you just you play your game like one game at a time, right? And I wasn't really featured until like top 16. That was actually my first like feature match. Like I wasn't featured before, and a lot of people are like, oh, like, with the cameras, you get shy. And I think that does have something to do with it, because I know some previous players that were kind of crucified for their play, right, on camera before. And even now, honestly, like some people still come up to me, hey, you forgot Flynn trigger in game 2 and you could have lost and all this kind of stuff, right? And I can totally see that, right? But yeah, you eventually you'll kind of get over it, and you kind of forget the cameras are there, and you just play your game, right? And I think that's the most important thing. Like Lorcana, no matter where you play, the games, you just play with what you know, and you go with your instinct. And I think that's the most important thing. So I just take it one game at a time and trying my best, kind of, just play my most optimal game.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to add, I was a bit stressed, right? It was my first challenge. On my first round, I sit in front of someone who recognizes me. It's, by the way, he's in the chat, it's Josiah. And we're like in a similar Discord, and he recognizes me. And then my username is just named, and the guy to my left is someone who I coached. And then immediately we start laughing and talking, and then we start playing the game. And I'm not stressed anymore. Like I'm in control. I'm playing this game that I know so much, right? That I've played so much, that from the beginning of where I sit and my opponents are nice, and I'm start like inking my cards and playing them, there's no more stress, right? Like this is where I'm exactly where I should be right now.
Yeah.
This is where I'm meant
Ed, did
to
you
be.
follow the other top 4 match? So it was Steel Song, and I don't know what his top 4 opponent was.
Steel Song.
Oh, so I didn't know you're like rooting. I've said that since, forever, like in Atlanta, that it was, well, maybe Harps would have been a little bit, you'd probably prefer that a little more, but
man, so I did remember.
He said he like crushed you day 1 too, right?
Oh yeah, he obliterated. So like the story, I told it a couple of times, but I'll tell it again. So basically what happened was there was 4 5-0 players. It was me, Chris, Joshua, and Brandon, I think. But anyway, so there was 4 top 5-0 players, and then the other 2 split, and then me and Chris Corey were they wanted to do feature matches for 1 and 2, and I think he was like very shy. He didn't want to play the feature match. So I think because of that, like he was I asked him to split, and he was kind of like, deciding. And then after, they moved the feature match to a different table, like he wanted to play, right? And it made sense for him, right? Like, I think there's a huge debate right now, like, oh, is it worth like playing it out, or, guaranteeing your day 2, right? And I know like Ryan, he's like, oh yeah, we're playing it out for sure. Now I want that number 1 seat. I want to go first. And I think this like finals like really shows that going first is incredibly good, right? Like number 1 versus number 2. It's not an accident, right? So I was, we played it out, and he just 2-0'd me, right? Like he was able to like shift queen, sing a thing, play Vanessa, sing a thing, wheel me, and then just like completely destroyed me, right? So I had to continue playing the tournament, and luckily I was able to like beat my next opponent 2-0, and then I do the rest to second seed. But yeah, like that deck is incredibly scary, and I was really hoping like maybe a red blue or blue steel player was able to take him out from the other side of the bracket, so like I don't have to like meet up with him again, right? But unfortunately for me, like he just like destroyed everybody on the play, just like shifted, sang, killed things. And yeah, like I was like, as soon as I walked on the stage, it was like it felt like an execution, right? I was like, uh-oh, I'm about to get crucified in the future match, right? And like he beat me game 1, right? And it was like, oh yeah, this is it. Like I'm just gonna try my best, right? But eventually, like, you know, he had like kind of awkward hands in game 2 and 3, and like I was able to just slightly edge him out, and I was like really lucky to do that. And that's definitely not like the norm, I would say.
Yeah, that's really all you're hoping for when you play against that deck. Is sometimes they have like consistency issues or something, because really you're not favored. But it was also cool. It was like an ode to like set 1, when because Ruby Amethyst and Steel Song were just the 2 big decks again. I was like, oh, we're going back to set 1, but
circled all the way around
with changes.
Like old friends, you know, at the top. Yeah.
And I love to ask challenge winners, what's it like going back to your LGS as a challenge champ?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. Like some people come up to me, it's like, oh yeah, like we played like 3 months ago, and like, you know, you taught me so much, and like, you know, like every other opponent after I played you is like much easier, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. But yeah, so it is kind of cool, right? Like you play with like these, I play with like these players like every single week, and honestly, I'm just like a normal guy, right? Like I like going to locals and like playing the game and just enjoying the game, right? So it's kind of cool, like, you know, having people come up to you and say, oh, can you sign my card or whatever. So I'm just enjoying my, you know, 15 minutes of fame or whatever for now.
I'm sure it's going to keep coming. You know, it's funny. I had a conversation with Ed this weekend, and it was this weekend. Time's a blur.
It's last weekend.
You're
talking about Fort Worth?
We had to talk, and I asked, because I always ask him like, hey, if there's anything I can do for you, like amplifier stuff, or you know, if you're gonna do content or whatever, like let me know. Happy to help. And Ed's like, man, I'm just doing my thing. Like I'm just playing the game. I'm just making friends. You know, I'm just gonna keep rolling challenges. I'm just doing the thing. But yeah, definitely. You know, as everybody suggested, a player to keep an eye on, because I've got a feeling that we're gonna see you again and again. You know, in the top cut of these challenges, and eventually making waves in continentals.
No pressure.
Along with all of the other
we're gonna face each other.
I was say, all 4 of us are qualified for continentals. Like
it's top 16 make continentals, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What's better than having 4 continental invitees in a chat?
One world champion.
Having
5
in a chat?
Maybe.
Aaron! What's up, guys?
The bro himself.
Hey.
Welcome home, Aaron.
I just couldn't resist.
This is turning into like the Brady Bunch screen. Right? So many people.
I know. I don't think we've ever had this many. This is new. But I do. Ed, I know we only had you for like 30 minutes. And so I know you have other things to do, but I thought it'd be fun to bring in Aaron like right before you go and have all of you, you know, future Continentals competitors in one spot. But Ed, so just a quick question. We're going to see in Toronto. What any closing thoughts on your experience in DFW, and like perhaps for anybody who's nervous about going to their first challenge, you know, any advice for them going into it, things that you wish you knew, and then lastly, can we expect any spice in Toronto?
Yeah, so I think the challenges are definitely like very long events, right? Like you definitely have to be, you know, plenty of sleep, get your hydration. Like if you need like food, personally, I don't eat anything. Like I like to just have my coffee and, you know, play a little bit hungry, you know, hunger for victory kind of thing, right? So definitely like you have to, you know, go in there with the mindset like, you know, it's going to be a long day and I have to be mentally ready for it. And I think if it's like your first time playing, like honestly, just go there to have fun, right? Just go experience the, you know, the culture of Lorcana, right? Like just make some friends and just have a good time, right? And after that, maybe you can, you know, figure out like, oh, I want to be more competitive. I'm going to do some research, go, you know, play with like top players and get better that way, right? So I would say just don't be scared, right? Just go play and just have fun. Like at the end of the day, it's a card game. Like we're here to have fun, right? And make friends and, you know, have a nice journey, right?
Yeah.
In terms of Toronto, like I think the thing about deck lists are that every deck is like meta dependent, and there's no such thing as a best deck, I would say. Every deck basically, it's like how your cards line up with everybody else's cards, if you think about it, right? Everybody gets to take turns, supposedly. Well, that's why they got rid of Bucky, right? It felt like you don't get to play the game. Like you discard your whole hand and you play off the top, right? But in like a normal kind of healthy game, everybody gets to take turns and you can align your cards with, you know, your opponent, and whoever has the best lineup usually wins the tournament, right? So with that in mind, I'm going to keep trying to think about like what my opponents are going to try to do and like how my game plan lines up with their game plan, right? And I think whoever basically figures that out for that particular tournament will take it home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lots of wisdom there.
Make that into a short. Well, Ed, thanks so much for joining us. This was a ton of fun. We're going to put a link to how you can follow Ed on social media, because I think you have a Twitter account, that people can follow you at least.
Yeah, I just made one. Honestly, I just made one.
Twitter.
No,
I saw some random Ed post. I clicked on it. It's like he's got 6 followers, but you're up there now. He's up there now, though.
Everybody, go follow Ed on Twitter.
Yeah, we can get to at least 100 before tomorrow.
No, he's got like almost 300 now or something.
What's the handle?
It's at Ed Lorcana.
At Ed Lorcana.
Yeah, so I mean, I made it just for this experience. Like a lot of people ask me, "Oh, you should make a Twitter." Like I want to hear about your journey, right? So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of share my thoughts on there for this journey.
Wow.
Awesome.
I appreciate it. So yeah, we will share your Twitter handle in the show notes so that people can follow you if they're watching this later. And yeah, I can't wait to chat with you again in the future and see what's up for Toronto.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Oh, before I leave, I want to give a quick shout out to some of the local players that I play with, Brian and Josie. They're very supportive of like my idea. Sometimes I kind of ramble and like spiral into the abyss, as it were, because like honestly, not all my ideas stick, right? Like I like to throw out all kinds of crazy ideas, like what if we play like 4 big CC, right? And they're like, okay, calm down there a little bit, you know. So I think it's very important to have like a good support system. And like they were definitely there for me when I was throwing out crazy ideas, and they got me to where I needed to be.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Well, thanks for
Ed.
joining us, Ed.
This is a treat.
Yeah, we'll talk later, I'm sure. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. Bye. Wow. Well, Team Lab, I told you all, initially when I invited you, I'm like, stay on for like 30 minutes, and now you've all been here for a while. If you all have anything to do before you go, and before we talk to Aaron about Japan, does anybody want to brave the trivia gauntlet? The Disney trivia gauntlet?
Nope.
No.
I was
team effort.
Ryan's over here like, let's go.
Yeah, I'll do it too.
Yeah. It's a team effort, I promise. So we all went together, lose together. However, I do have a rule, which I will cover once we get Carolyn's ditty over. I said over as if it's a bad thing. I love that ditty.
What? Yeah, it's great.
I know.
I love her intro.
Yeah, me too. Carolyn, welcome back.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
So for those who don't know, we sometimes we play trivia with our guests. Sometimes we surprise them with trivia.
Surprise!
And we're producing a limited run Illumitier's trivia pin. And people can only earn them on the show or on our Discord server in our monthly trivia games. Here's the rule for tonight, though. There's a lot of you, and I'm only going to have so many pins. So if we as a group win, you all can pick one of you guests to earn this pin. And Brandon, it can't be you because I think you've already earned one.
That's just news to me.
Okay. Well,
Surprise!
So team Labyrinth, you all
Awesome.
can pick one of you, whoever you think of the MVP of this game is, to earn the pin when I eventually get them in. And that's
He's
that's
just
the
like
rule.
giving away these non-existent pins, by the way. I'm
They're not printed yet.
I mean, they're designed. We just need to order them.
They are designed. They're very pretty.
But he's
Yeah.
like one of those guys who buys a Christmas present and then can't wait till Christmas.
You
and
wanna
then
know
he's
what
like,
I got
"Can tell
you?"
what I
That's
got you?"
literally Rachel. No matter what it is, she'll buy the gift in like August, and she's like, "You want to know what I got you for Christmas?" I'm like, "No, it's August. What do you mean?"
That's me too.
Here's the problem. I'm talking about this as if it's easy, but when I get them, I'm gonna have like 30 to mail out, and I'm gonna have to spend like a whole Saturday just messing.
Okay,
with
we
these
should
things.
just play trivia. You can look while Caroline asks questions.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna find the pins
Carolyn,
right now.
go.
So
All you.
we've already played our little trivia, our normal trivia gauntlet for the episode. So I thought
Is it gonna be all golden?
I haven't decided if it's gold or brass yet. It depends on the production facility.
Both will be nice. Sorry, I'm graphic designer, so I'm like.
Oh yeah. I had a magic artist design this. One of my favorite magic artists.
Nice.
Arcade Post.
Okay, now go, Carolyn, go.
So I thought for our second game of the night, we'd take a little page out of our book in Discord and play R&B's favorite game. We're doing a little Name That Tune.
Oh no.
So here's how it works. I'm going to say, not sing. I'm going to
No,
say.
you gotta sing it. You have to sing it. If we're doing Name That Tune, you gotta sing it.
But that's the thing, is that makes it too easy because then you have the tune. So I say the lyric, and you have to come up with what song and what movie.
And then you have to sing the lyric back to her.
No.
Or some portion of the
I'll sing
song.
All right, and chat, you're in this game, so we might need the help. Maryland's trivia is tough.
Where's R&B when I need her?
I have 3 lyrics that I can give you for each song. If you
R&B like
if
busts
we go
in
a
the back
couple of
door
guesses
behind
and
Ryan.
you guys don't get it, I'll give you another lyric. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So our first one, Never Gonna Catch My Breath.
I mean, this is gotta be
It's
Ariel.
not a Little Mermaid. But probably not.
I know this.
I think I know this.
I don't know why, but the only thing I can sing in my head right now is "Never Gonna Give You Up."
That's what I was thinking.
That was
too.
the first thing I thought of.
It's blocking out everything. So
Rick Astley will do
it's
that.
from well, I guess I'll let you guys. I'll let you guys try to guess. I know what it is.
Say it.
It's "Make a Man Out of You" from Mulan.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I'll make a man out of you from Mulan.
I'm never gonna catch my breath. Hope he doesn't see right through me. Yeah.
Good job.
I have to,
Good job,
I have
Ryan.
to give the team like the chance to answer.
No, me and Sailor both thought. Because we can't breathe underwater, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like first
the lyric too literal.
All right. Song number 2. I'm All Aglow.
All aglow.
All aglow.
Is it like a Princess and the Frog thing?
I mean, it
I was
seems
wondering
like
if
a Rapunzel
thing.
thing. but,
Rapunzel, yeah. I was thinking
Yeah.
Rapunzel.
I see R&B singing through something over there.
I'd have to like sing the songs in my head to see if.
Yeah.
To see if they fit.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's in Mother Knows Best, right?
No, it's okay. I think I got it.
So
Wow,
it's
Ryan,
Rapunzel,
that's
and it's not Princess and the Frog, but you guys are
No.
along the right line. So
He
just-
said it's not Rapunzel and not Princess and the Frog.
Correct.
No, it's from Cinderella.
Wow,
And
What is
this
it?
guy.
Ryan.
I mean,
Is it so? This is love.
Yes.
Wow.
Look at him go.
What's
Wow.
okay, R&B, what's the lyric?
No, ma'am. I'm not prepared to be singing. No, ma'am.
Wow.
Come on. Aaron did one.
Slightly sidetracked, but Ryan loved the shirt.
Yeah, I got my Little Mermaid shirt on.
Wow. Ooh, I'm
All
getting-
right. Let's see if I can stump Ryan here.
That one crushed me. All right.
The summer's like a toy balloon.
Oh, wait, I know this one.
Is this Olaf? No.
Mm-mm.
The summer's like a toy balloon. Summer's like a toy balloon.
It's not Olaf, I'll tell you that.
The summer's like a toy balloon. Don't.
Is this from Up?
We're all like,
There's-
where are balloons?
What- yeah.
Toy
Dumbo.
Story.
This time
Oh,
period
it's
had
All right,
balloons.
Clue number 2. There's a wealth of happiness and promise.
There's a wealth of happiness and promise.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be singing about a season though? Like the summer's like a toy balloon. There's a wealth of happiness and promise.
Aaron, do you know it?
Is this Robin?
I mean, I may or may not have Googled it, but you know.
But
I got it.
Is this Robin Hood?
It is not Robin
No, it's
Hood,
definitely
but
not Robin Hood.
But you're in the right era.
tracking toward the right time
The
period.
right era. Oh my god.
Summer's like
The
a toy
dwarves from the Seven
So what's the
Dwarfs?
first lyric again? Hold on.
I can't even
hold
find
on.
it googling it.
Summer's like a toy balloon.
Oh,
And then
chat's got it.
Well, of course Sarah knows it.
Yeah.
I'm not. No, I don't. I'm not gonna look at chat.
No, don't. We can't let Ryan get stung. He's not getting-
I don't know this one, guys.
I
Like
don't-
I
I don't-
need.
The last
They
clue.
are the
last
people.
clue.
The
Well,
people.
last clue,
Okay,
last
wait,
clue.
wait, okay.
I have one more clue.
Okay.
You can learn a lot of things from the flowers.
Oh,
Oh,
Alice in Wonderland.
That's Alice in Wonderland.
What's the song called?
I don't know any of the song names. Yeah, that's that
That
song.
one.
Yeah.
In
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know any of the song names from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah,
That's
me
like-
this one I know from memory.
This one I did
Well,
know.
I know the Walrus and the Carpenter song, but
That's a good one.
In the
In
Go ahead, help him out.
go in the golden afternoon. It's
All
the
the
golden
golden
afternoon.
yeah. I don't think oh goodness gracious. I'm
Yeah, Alice in Wonderland's not my forte.
also same.
I took a stab.
I think we got our first song from this movie in Lorcana revealed today, right? Isn't it?
No, Painting the Roses
We have
Red
Painting the
from
Roses
Alice.
Red.
Oh yeah, right.
Forgot about that. But we did get the king. That's cool.
We did get the
Yeah.
king.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we got. Okay.
Oof.
Very
All right.
nice, Carolyn. Very
Oh,
nice.
We have another. I think there was
Oh,
four.
no, that was it. We only have
That's
three.
fine? Okay.
wow.
Alice in Wonderland is one of those movies that we recorded on VHS when I was a kid, except we recorded it from TV when, like, you know, ABC would play it. And it's one of those, when we do that, you know, they cut it down for broadcast length. And there are scenes in there, like the walrus and the oysters, that was not in the TV version. So, like, my mind was blown when I watched it as an adult and found these hidden scenes that weren't in the film that I knew.
The Walrus and the Carpenter wasn't in it?
No, not in the TV
Which
version.
is like one of the
They
best
cut it
parts
out.
of the movie.
Yeah, it's good.
But it is also very easy to cut out because it's very random. It does not advance the plot at all.
That's true.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Well, way to go, guys. Woohoo.
Good
Go
job,
team.
Ryan.
Well
So,
done.
so who earns the pin? this
Well,
round?
It's
do
all
we
Ryan.
really need to
It's all-
ask?
It's all Ryan.
No, because I'm gonna
I
keep.
think
I'm gonna keep playing in the Discord. So like, hopefully, like I can
Means
get a
like
pin
I'm
through
getting a pin.
You know what
I'll-
I should do? We should have two different colors, one for the Discord win and one for the
Liam
show
and
win.
James.
You could have a golden one and a
The
silver
full
one.
name.
Brass one.
Actually, you should just do a gold, a silver, and a bronze.
Who needs to sleep? We don't. No.
Yeah. So you all have hung out for quite a while. What we're gonna do for the rest of the show, I do have, if I can arrange it, I've got one announcement we're gonna make. We're gonna bring one guest at 8:30
Pacific time.
Pacific
That's
time
10:30
and
our
do an
time.
announcement. So until then, we have about 10 minutes. I do want to hear about Aaron's trip to
I
Japan.
want to hear about
Aaron,
Tokyo. Because
Yeah.
I want to hear about Japan.
amazing.
Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I was there for just a little bit over 2 weeks, and I'm gonna try and highlight. I mean, I could talk for hours about the trip. I'm gonna try and highlight the parts that are, you know, more relevant to the Disney content. But you know, when we landed, I miscalculated the time zone conversion. I went the opposite direction. So when we landed a day earlier than we anticipated. We had no place to stay
Oh
for
no.
the first night. So we luckily found a hotel that was like very close to where we were staying the next day, and it all worked out. But that was like a very large scare just to start the trip off.
Sounds
like my nightmare.
Yeah, one of our, there was 4 of us. One of our friends had a straight up panic attack, and he like shut down, and we had to like the 3 of us had to fix the situation. But yeah, it was a great start to the trip. But then it was the second day we did Tokyo Disney Sea, which is a new park there. So they have Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea. We only had one day that we could allocate towards like the Disney park, so we chose the one that was unique to Japan, which is the Disney Sea, and they have the new area called Fantasy Springs, which has there's a Peter Pan area there, there's a Rapunzel area there, and there's Arendelle there. So that place, you unfortunately were only able to access some of the rides. It was like on a request-based system. So we were able to get the Rapunzel ride and the Frozen ride, but we were not able to ride the Peter Pan ride. If you guys are cool with me sharing my screen, I got like some pictures here.
I don't know if you can do that. Can you do that?
Oh, I don't know if we can't. If maybe
yeah,
I think there's an option
the
to.
middle button.
yeah,
on
share
the-
screen.
My
share screen,
goodness.
press
All right,
it.
this is new. Yeah.
We have
sure.
technology.
I'm learning
All
about
right, cool.
your platform.
Can you guys see it?
Wait,
Show
No.
hold on, almost. Boom.
There it is.
Yes.
All right. So this was one of the stores, McDuck's. This is my favorite store that we saw there, and I had to take some pictures of the McDuck's department store. This was the inside of it. There's like a statue. And it's like, yeah, it was really awesome.
And a really nice Scrooge McDuck oil painting, which would look good on that wall.
This is this is the Indiana Jones ride, which was our favorite ride of the trip, and my friend's driving, and it was we are all 3 of us are either current or former improv comedy guys, so we were just like doing bits the whole time. So this ride is like, you're just avoiding like all of the big scary things in the Indiana Jones ride, and so he was pretending to drive, and I was like, no, go left, go right, and he was like, okay, you drive then, and then just and I reach over. So it's just a lot of good fun bits. This is while we were waiting for the Rapunzel ride. They had these Flynn Rider posters everywhere, and I loved it because the nose is differently wrong in every single one of the photos.
That's awesome.
Incredible.
So, yeah, it was just a really cool. This was part of the line as well. So the ride itself was, this is on the ride. It goes through the story up to the Lantern Festival. So you just kind of ride through, and they had some really cool animatronics. Oops. This is a video. We don't have to watch the video. Oops. But this is kind of.
wow, that's pretty.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
It's beautiful.
Yep. In that same area, there was the Jolly Roger. So my friend Adrian got to, hop on the Jolly Roger and pretend to be Captain Hook.
Aw, Adrian.
Yeah. There's Skull Rock here.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So this was all in the new area. This is the King Triton's Castle. The Little Mermaid is my favorite Disney movie, and so I just had to get like a nighttime shot at King Triton's Castle. Next here we have Arendelle, which was, I just think that they do a really fantastic job on like all of these locations. They make it look so nice. And the Frozen ride, the animatronics were
They're
truly
incredible.
amazing here. Like everything looked so fantastic. Like
Did you get video of Anna's cape freezing and unfreezing?
yes, at the end, that animatronic blew my mind. I didn't get the video of that part. I just got the Let It Go portion, but it really was truly amazing. So yeah, Disney Sea, it was really awesome. Really happy that we went there. My one regret is also not doing Disneyland. I wish I fought harder to get like an extra day at Disneyland. But sorry, I'll show some more pictures. But before, there's also, I love Disney pins. Sorry, I'm like rambling now, but I got a bunch of Disney pins from there. Some of them these ones you could only acquire from playing a carnival game there. So I did like a ton of research on how to get like some of the exclusive pins because I've been collecting pins since I've been a child at Disney. I grew up in Southern California, so like we would go there all the time. And so there we found this game, and if you won, you get a plushie, and if you lost, you got the pins. So I played twice and lost both times so I could get the pins.
Oh no.
Oh, did you purposefully lose?
I mean, I actually tried to win, and I just figured if I won, I would say, no, I want the pin. So I lost both times, legitimately. But it was funny that I wanted to lose. So I got those pins, and then I also got, so in Japan, there's a concept called gachapon, or gacha for short, which is basically like, I don't know how to best explain it. It's just a random, it's just like a randomizer, like a lot of video games, like you randomly get a hero, so you don't like get the one you want. And that's a big thing in Japan. So I got the Illuminateers, both Aaron and Liam, a gotcha Mickey pin thing. So here's all the
Wait.
We don't see you anymore.
Pressing buttons.
You hit the wrong button.
No!
Stop
Wait.
sharing your screen.
Wait.
No!
Stop sharing your screen.
Right.
All right, let's do that. Now let's do that. Boom.
Oh,
There we
stop.
go.
There
you
Now
go.
you're
Okay.
full screen. There you go.
Wait,
What do you
Aaron,
got?
when did you get us?
Oh, these are little gotcha pins here.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so these are all the ones you can get, but I'll give those to you next time I see you guys.
I see a
Aw.
future stream lapel pen. All right.
But so yeah, that was Disney. And there's also like little gotcha machines. Can you still see my camera, or am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We
So
we're just
there's,
freaking
like-
out over here. No big deal. Like we don't know what we're doing. It's okay.
this is like so you have like little machines, like, you know, put $4 in, and then you can get like that's less, 400 yen, which is like $3, and you can get these little figurines. And at first I was like, what am I going to do with these little figurines? But then I was like, I can use this as like my hand medallion or something, you know, to put over them. So we've got some like little gotcha figurines there. It was,
The White Rabbit.
yeah, this is the White Rabbit, and he's got his little clock. The name of this series was called Hide and Seek, so all the characters were hiding. So there was like a Woody with his hat down covering his face, and Alice was like really tiny and hiding behind the bottle that shrank, or yeah, the bottle. And so like they're all hiding. That's kind of the series that this was. But yeah, it was a really great time in Tokyo. We also went to Kanazawa. Am I still sharing my screen or no?
You are.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to. This is a new experience for us.
Sorry.
Yeah,
It's
We,
like-
we don't really know what we're doing. It's okay. We're good.
Well, here, sorry.
Wait, here. We'll just do. Wait, there we go.
There it goes.
Wait, I want to show. So we went to this. Did you shut
Oh,
down? This?
I hit it. Now I don't know how to go back.
It's okay. I don't have to show the pictures.
Yeah.
I don't have to show the pictures.
Brandon's just like amateurs
Yeah,
with
it's
their
this
like.
is never
You guys been doing this a year. Come on.
Amateur hour.
I
No,
also
so-
have no idea how to do
At
this.
2 years,
so-
we'll have figured this out.
Sorry. I just wanted to like. I just thought the pictures.
It's our first ever show and
you know.
tell.
But we went to this other town called Kanazawa, which is like a small mountain village, and they're known for their hot springs. So we stayed in this very traditional, Japanese hotel. There was no beds, there was no chairs. You just sat on your knees at a very small table, and they gave you traditional robe that you had to wear. It was really an awesome experience, and it was all about like relaxation. You got to go into these natural hot springs and just really relax. And this lined up at the same time as the DLC challenge.
I was like,
And
where are you
now-
going with this, Aaron?
Yes, this lined up the same time as the challenge. So I just like took my headphones and like my phone and just got in the hot springs and watched the challenge, watched like Liam commentate and Brandon commentate, and just watched
Awesome
it
stuff.
So
You had to have the best viewer experience of anybody that was watching the challenge.
it was truly it was truly awesome to just super relax, like be around beautiful nature and just watch some excellent Lorcana play and some excellent Lorcana commentary. So,
oh, man. Well, that's so fun. I honestly like I could talk about this all night because I'm a talker, and and Aaron, we want to hear more of your stories. Unfortunately, we're really in time, and I told the lab folks early who came on for that segment, I'm like 30 minutes, totally fine, and here we are an hour and a half later.
We
We just love you.
Yeah,
We just love you.
No, I just tricked people into coming in. That's the trick. It's like, hey, I just need you for a 30-minute segment, and then hours later. But what I do want to do, we are going to make an announcement here in a few minutes, just a fun little one. We have a guest coming in to do that. I rather than like cram all of the outros in the last minute, I want to give everybody a chance to like plug their channels and say how they can follow you all, and then we'll say goodbye to the lab team because like really you all are some of the not only the best players in the game, but some of the most approachable. I know a lot of you offer coaching, and for anybody watching who's not familiar with Labyrinth and these folks here in particular, like you should be following them because they're why wouldn't you? I don't know.
They're great people.
You guys so much.
I actually said I want to say something out loud that I said to Liam privately the other day, that I feel like you guys are a great blend of both competitive but also wanting to grow the game however people come to the game, and you meet people where they're at, and that makes y'all again some of the most approachable players, and it's one reason that we enjoy connecting with you guys so much, so we appreciate y'all.
Love it.
Stop it.
Yeah, that's the
Thank
goal.
you.
Stop it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Got the poker chip.
Team Lab. Yeah.
I want one of those.
I'll start.
I want one of those so bad.
Taylor, how can people follow you and your socials?
So I'm Pierre-Marc Lorcana Sailor on Twitter. You can find me on many Discord channels, 20 Lore Pros. You can find me also on our Team Labyrinth TCG website, where you can sign up for coaching. I do lots and lots of coaching in Lorcana, mostly about Ruby Sapphire. So if you're into that deck, you want to know everything about it, I teach everything about it because honestly, the mulligan in Lorcana is pretty hard to master, right? So and the ink system is also pretty hard. So it's a really easy game to get into, but it's really hard to master. So don't hesitate, reach out, and yeah, love to do that. Thanks for the opportunity for inviting me here.
Thanks for joining us, and you're a first-time guest too. So it's so awesome having you here. Kendall, who has probably my favorite Twitter handle ever.
There's like, it keeps getting, it's like, yeah, well, one, no, I'm not was taken. So it's just me, actual, no, I'm not. But I've had this thing come up twice now where there's been 2 fake accounts that like copied my account because I was doing like giveaways. So I might have to invest in a check mark now, or, but yeah, so that's why it's actual, no, I'm not. Mostly active on Twitter. I have an Instagram. It's not anywhere active. And then, yeah, I'm in Team Labyrinth Discord, 20 Lore Discord. Again, like our Team Labyrinth website, you can get all your services there as far as coaching or apparel or whatever. And then, yeah, mostly, like, again, mostly active on Twitter. So if you ever have questions, I mostly try comment a lot, or I can answer questions through DMs or whatever. So
awesome.
Yeah. Aaron.
Yeah, so you can find me on Discord. I'm Lorcana Bro. You can always, message me. I'm also in Team Labyrinth channel. On Twitter, I'm also Lorcana Bro, and YouTube, you can find me Lorcana Bro as well. Nothing's going on right now on the YouTube channel. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to pivot that, but there will be some stuff coming up. So stay tuned.
You're not that far away. I've got cameras set up here in the kitchen. Come on down and film.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Maybe Liam can actually play some
Great
games.
collab.
Yeah. Ryan, how can people follow you?
I'm bald. Just
That's
find
right.
me.
I'm a bald guy. I will say, you guys can hear it first here.
You're getting a hair transplant. Can't hear anything.
Did you just mute his mic?
Yeah, he did.
I guess you guys. I guess you guys
teased us.
August 2nd, a new episode of Lab Rats.
Okay.
Find
Lab Rats
me
is fun.
over on YouTube at Labyrinth TCG. 'Cause
Okay.
I'll be there. I'll be there, bald and all.
That's awesome. Well, thank you all. I literally want to like rave about Team Labyrinth some more, but I feel like
We need to do our
We need to
announcement.
let them go.
well, yeah. All right.
If you love them, let
Thank
them
you all so
go.
much.
Bye, y'all.
That's a good one, Brendan.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the most fun I've had on a stream in a long time.
I love those guys. They're great.
They're
Yeah.
amazing.
They are all amazing people. So I do want to we're gonna do a fun little announcement. And gonna remember about somebody from
Full circle.
Full circle. It's a fun little one. And then we're gonna close out again. Thanks everybody for watching our anniversary stream. Yeah, we'll close out in a minute. And yeah.
Hi, Rebecca.
Hi,
Back.
I'm back. How are you? I brought someone with me too.
Yay. All right.
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Welcome on the show.
Yeah, Caleb is one of the best young Lorcana players we know. Very talented, very
True.
enthusiastic, and
Wait,
love having him
did
on the show.
Caleb? Did you win your Ursula?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome!
background.
Congratulations.
Yeah. so
Wait.
cool.
Okay. There we go.
We were all.
We were all rooting for you through your mom. She was giving us live updates.
That's true. She's on her ears now. He's going to the top cut. Now he's up against this. Now he's going against
Yes.
this.
Even
Like a good mom does, you know?
when you were
Yeah,
playing against
absolutely.
Amethyst Emerald, your mom almost kicked Liam in the shin, and he didn't root for you.
That's true. I was and then I think my favorite one was, oh no, he's playing so and so, and of course we don't know who that is. but
Yeah.
that's awesome. So Caleb, we're working on something together. What are we working on?
We're working on the Lorcana Clubhouse.
What is Lorcana Clubhouse going to be?
Just a bunch of kids who play Lorcana. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
it's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Kylo was telling me about this the other day, and I'm so stoked for you
Oh,
guys.
yeah. So what we're doing, we've got there's some amazing young Lorcana players who not only enjoy playing the game, who are very good, but also inspiring other young people to get out in the game, get in the competitive scene, and they've all like become friends too, which is fun.
Yeah.
And so we're working on a live show similar to this, but we're going to offset it from our Monday night shows. Probably do it once a month, and it's going to be a Lorcana Clubhouse, and the whole goal is to have the kids come up with a plan for the show, run the show, and it's going to be 4 or 5 of the best young Lorcana players that we can all interact with once a month. And yeah, what did I miss, Caleb or Rebecca? No.
Nothing. That was it. Can we say who else is joining? Yeah. Why don't you share who's going to be joining?
Who are going to be your
kids?
co-hosts?
Riley, Kyla, Dana, is Luca maybe?
I have to send Luca's going to be. I just need to send the invite. Luca, if you're still here,
Yeah.
you're on the list.
Surprise!
Yeah.
Alana is going to host. She's
yeah,
going to be the main host.
Yeah, she's going to sit here and go da 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 da, which means down with Bucky. No offense, Caleb.
Oh, okay. Speaking of Bucky, I have something that I've been wanting to show.
Oh,
It's my new deck box. It's my new deck box.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Very nice.
But you won with the Bucky deck, right?
I got third place with the Bucky deck. Yes.
So you need to write that tournament date and the place
Right.
on the side of the box.
On the box.
R.I.P.
Yes.
Bucky, but this is what I did on the way out.
Caleb, I have a Bucky related present coming your way in a little bit.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a cool group of kids, and I love that they've started like becoming friends. Like Caleb's played some webcam games with some of them, so it's been really cool. They're all encouraging each other and everything. So it'll be really neat to see them kind of grow with the game and inspire, like you said, inspire other young players to get into the game too. I actually met somebody who said they watched the kids roundtable that you did, and that their daughter, I think it was, who's like 10, she was like so inspired by seeing all these other kids talking about Lorcana. So it's going to be really neat.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so great. It's a fun project.
Yeah.
I think we've penciled in the first episode for, I think it was the 11th of August. It's a Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Sunday.
we have 2 weeks to get that pulled together, but we're talking, and it should be a fun show. So if you're watching and you know anybody who has kids at home who are playing the game, or even just want to learn from some amazing young players, whether or not you have kids at home or not, just pencil in that date. We'll get more information coming soon, and we're gonna work on a fun little show. So
Yay. Thanks for joining us, Caleb, for the announcement.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
and congrats on the Ursula.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I gotta do it next season too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Man, now we've announced the show. The pressure's on. Now we have to get it together.
Yeah, now we have to like crack down and work.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
there is a lot of work going on behind the scenes to chat and make this happen. So it's gonna be good. We're excited. So send us your ideas for any bits or information you all want. If you're watching, we're gonna make it happen. So
Yeah, absolutely.
all right.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, Caleb. Rebecca, good to see you.
Good night,
You're
y'all.
welcome.
Happy 1-year anniversary of the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Woo. I need to catch my breath. It is.
That's a marathon of show. That's like this week in ink long.
So I'd say it's kind of crazy. You guys don't have a time. You have to be over now. You can
It's
just.
very weird. I was
Let's
asked,
go.
Liam was running through the show.
Bad.
Liam was running through the show with me this weekend because I was out of town, and I was like, "Wait, is this the norm now? Or are we no longer an hour-long show?" And he's like, "No, it's just the 1-year anniversary show." I'm like, "Right."
That's what you say now.
Yeah, it's just the 1-year anniversary show. I don't know. Thanks for hanging out with us the whole show. For those watching every week, like Carolyn hangs out in the green room most of the show, and gives us notes behind the scene, and is like kind of the producer on the back end. So in addition to doing trivia, so that's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but
I do a little bit. I don't do that much. I'm not.
A bit. You catch spelling errors on my slides before the show.
I do that.
So Brandon, what are your thoughts? Like, I thanks for hanging out with me.
Oh
the whole show. It was a
gosh.
marathon.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having
so
me. I
nice.
feel like part of this, I watch you guys every week. So being on here, sometimes my eyes don't glaze over, but I'm like, oh, I'm just watching.
I'm just watching
Let's Talk
Let's Talk
Lorcana. And I'm like, oh wait, I'm here. I should probably
I'm
interact a little
on
bit. So I mean, I don't know. There was this is such a great show. Might be one of my favorites just because of all the different things we talked about. Like Shane coming on so early was a highlight. Like I mentioned earlier, I love the Team Labyrinth guys. They were one of the first teams that really made themselves known in Lorcana, I think. And as Caroline mentioned earlier, they've done a great job at being presentable is not the right word, being approachable for the game. And most of them are very happy to talk and help people get better. And I think, they want to see the competitive aspect of this game grow too. I know I learn a lot from these guys. Liam and I, being in our caster roles, we have to know the game, and those guys are the pros. And so, I look to them for a lot of advice and learn a lot of my stuff from them. So it was awesome to have them on and talking about Fort Worth. And then, of course, our challenge winner with Ruby Amethyst. And so I don't know. It's been a delight. I like these long shows because you can do so much with it. So it's been really fun.
Yeah.
But thanks for hanging out. They're a challenge, because on the one hand, there's always a balance between scheduling segments, like a few that end up going long and kind of drag out.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you cram too many together and they end up being really good and fun, like sometimes you're ending up rushing. And so this is one of those where I feel like we just had so many good things scheduled. I don't know.
Yeah.
We got our money's worth.
Me too.
But
it was a good celebration of 1 year of being at this. So
Yeah, I mean, you guys are pioneers in the Disney Lorcana content creator space. You guys are one of the first channels that I came across before you guys knew me, and I started doing any of my content. And you guys deserve every ounce of success that you've had, and I'm excited to see like what more you guys have planned, because y'all been super involved in the community and pretty much everywhere. Like, you guys started doing art, but now we're doing competitive stuff as well, and then also doing the splash stuff with the kids as well. So you guys I don't know how you do all of it, especially with a newborn child. So it's awesome to see the growth that you guys have had over this past year, for sure. And I'm very proud and happy to call you guys friends, and that you guys invite me onto this, and I can share even a little bit of that journey with you guys. So
thanks, Brandon.
Well, it was important. There's a lot of people, as I said at the beginning, for anybody who's watched the whole time, and let me say it again, but it was important for us to have you on here for a number of reasons. There's a lot of content creators who I would have liked to have, but there were just so many people that I couldn't have everybody on. But you,
so we ended up with you.
Everyone else said no.
Everyone else said no, and so we ended up begging. But no, so you are part of a core group of content creators who've been around for a long time, who we have relied on numerous times for advice or collaborations, or just, I think
encouragement.
I think we've called each other a few times, or I've called you a couple times just to vent or talk.
Yeah.
Because content creation is a grind, and sometimes it's hard to discuss some of the unique pressures and some of the behind the scenes stuff with somebody who's not in it. And so you've always been a friend and somebody that we could lean on, and also my co-commentator, which has been a treat.
Yeah. And that goes both ways too. It's not just, I don't know. It's why I say I'm happy to call you guys friends for everything you just said. I feel like both Liam and Aaron and myself have been in this since the beginning, and having people being able to, I remember how much you guys were encouraging me, in the very beginning. And even there's little things. I'm going to tell a really quick, fun story. But in Atlanta, I get really anxious pretty easily. And I can get kind of weird about germs and being in crowded spaces. And of course, being my first time commentating professionally, there was a lot of nerves around that as well. And I remember talking to Liam and Aaron, and Aaron just came up and she gave me a hug, and she's like, "Are you okay?" and talked to me. And you guys are just so encouraging. And she's like, "You should, that hand sanitizer you talked about, you should put it in your pocket." And I don't know, it's that's such a small thing, but it's oh yeah, that would be really smart. And just looking out for each other, even in those little ways, whether it's in person or like Liam said, just sending a Discord message being "Hey, do you have a second to talk?" or, listen to each other rant. It's a extremely valuable, and I also think rare, relationship. And this isn't just with myself and Liam. Like you said, there's a bunch of other people, some of them that are in chat, even right now, that we've had relationships with for a long time in this community. And is so much fun as this game is, and this is literally me living out a dream, being in these positions. All of it's not easy, and we have to lean on each other. And that's part of the reason that I love this community so much, is because of how much we all lift each other up in every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to look around and recognize, as we see a lot of content creators, taking breaks and exiting the spaces, that while this is, a lot of us are living out dreams and things we've thought about for a long time, it's also hard. It's work, and it takes a lot of effort and time and emotion, and almost even more so than your day job, because you're not able, most people aren't able to make a living off of this, and you're putting all of your emotions into this. A lot of people can just go to work, put in their 8 hours, turn it off at the end of the day, come home, be with their family, leave that work-life balance. But being a creator, it's so hard to not get emotionally attached to what you're doing. And your work is often better when you do. So needing to have that give and take, where you have somebody else who understands and can help you recharge and like bounce ideas off of and listen to you vent and, you know, reassure you that you are doing a great job is so important. And as being a newer person in this space, like, it's been really great to look up to y'all in sort of a way. Like, y'all have been doing this so well for such a long time, and I'm really, really grateful that y'all have sort of adopted me a little bit.
Oh,
no, it's kind of a perfect segue here because I do. We should probably call this here soon, but I would be remiss if we didn't do a big round of thank yous. You know, starting off with the people on the stream. Brandon, thanks again, like for everything, and not only what I said before, but like pushing us. And I hope we can keep doing content together, off and on, collabs and commentating and all that for a long time. I value, our friendship quite a bit. And Carolyn, thank you for everything you've done. I know you recently came on board on the Discord server, but running the chat, just even like talking to us, coaching us, giving us notes behind the scenes during our live streams. Like a lot of you don't realize, Carolyn does a lot behind the scenes, to help not only the show succeed, but the Discord server. And so thank you for everything. And you should follow her on Twitter and Love Galore because they're amazing. Thanks to Fergus for helping to run the Discord server, serving as a mod there. Huge help. Thanks to Hobbies and Happiness, who's in the chat.
Oh my gosh, I was just going to say.
Hobbies and Happiness, Brandon, you said something about trailblazing, but Hobbies and Happiness did this first.
Hobbies and Happiness was the first podcast I think we were on. Like really, Dan had us. Hobbies and Happiness was who started like the community,
the live shows.
The live shows, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and brought content creators and people in the community together for the, like kind of the first time for Lorcana. Well before we did.
That was what started this because I missed those Friday night live streams. Yeah. And so we were like, let's try to replicate that on Monday, sort of, with a time hack because this could go long. But yeah, that was awesome. I also need to thank Stephen Gettle, who does a lot of work behind the scenes with some of our numbers. He's been cutting shorts for us. Big fan or friend of the channel, and can't thank him enough for everything he's done. Scott Goodrich for the advice behind the scenes and some of the audio advice. Been kind of a mentor along the way. There's just so many others. I could shout out all the other creators from Jaunty, like the OG. Lorcana Illumineers, who we did not steal a name from. We came up with that. Did not force that rebrand. And who am I missing? Because there's just so many.
There were Lorcana casts like Sugi and those guys who encouraged us to have a mission statement for our channel and to stick to what we thought was important.
Yeah. I mean, there's just
there's so many people.
Glimmer Gang and all those folks, and Live Laugh Lorcana and all the inspiration there, and 40 Born, and God, I could go on. There's just I'm gonna miss somebody if I don't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But thanks everybody. Also, like random one. Thank you, Nick Cole, for giving us an interview when we had 25 subscribers.
No
and actually like made us semi-legitimate in the artist world. So that man will forever change the trajectory of our channel. So anyway,
and thank you to Ravensburger for a wonderful game and for a wonderful team and for supporting us and giving us opportunities. They're amazing, and many more years. So
with that,
what am I missing?
We can keep going on and for hours, but I actually have to go to sleep.
It's almost midnight here, so I may have to call it.
All right, let's do. Oh, Citizens of Lorcana. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thanks, Sailor. My goodness, it's almost so obvious to thank them that we forgot. But Citizens of Lorcana is the original cheerleader and community builder, and
no kidding.
Jared. So wonderful.
Yeah, thanks so much for that team and everything they've done. Not only the voices, but Adara behind the scenes, like they're great. So, yes. Gosh, go follow B Squared, Brandon. People should follow you. Yes.
Yeah, you can follow me everywhere at B Squared 24. That's pretty much all I need to know. There's more. There will be more content coming. I promise. I know there hasn't been a video in a hot minute, but we're prioritizing. Yeah, we've been a little busy with DLCs and other stuff. We're changing priorities, so I got some exciting stuff going there. So yeah,
looking forward to
it.
it.
Can't wait for it. Thanks for spending evening with us, Brandon.